Time national champion Pittsburgh Panthers, and home of some of college football's true legends. Who could forget Pitt's dream backfield of 1938?
Here, Marshall Goldberg, number 42, a fighting, charging football demon.
A stadium that a man named Ditka called home. A stadium that christened him Iron Mike. A legend raced through this hallowed ground. A man named Dorsett won a national championship and a Heisman Trophy. A young Dan Marino grew up 4 blocks from this football haven and became one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Today, a football monument turns on its lights for the very last time. The Home Depot College Football on CBS. It's Notre Dame against Pittsburgh. They've come to say farewell to this grand old stadium. They've come to celebrate 75 years of memories and be part of one that will last forever. Earlier today, the University of Pittsburgh football team took the traditional walk, known as the Panther Prowl, into the stadium, joined by letter winners of years past. Today, they'll tee it up one last time at Pitt Stadium as the Panthers host the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. An emotional moment as Pittsburgh makes their final run into Pitt Stadium. And what better opponent than the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame? And hi, everybody. I'm Craig Bolerjack. Boy, what a historical day here in the city of Pittsburgh as Pitt Stadium will close its gates after today's game with the Fighting Irish. Just moments ago, Pitt head coach Walt Harris shared a few special thoughts with his team.
Atmosphere. This is what we dreamt about right here. To create this kind of atmosphere. Let's capture it. And let's play with pride with regard to the old Pitt football program and the great tradition that the university's had. And finally, and most important for this team, let's learn how to win.
Well, with me is the captain of the 1991 national champion Washington Huskies, Ed Cunningham. Boy, emotion in the locker room, so much emotion in this stadium, but the bottom line, Ed, there's a football game to be played today.
Yeah, most games become historical after the final gun. This one is historical before they even kick it off. Unfortunately for Walt Harris, he's got a lot of injuries to deal with. One of them is to his starting quarterback, David Priestley, who will not play today. So John Turman instead will start, but he has starting experience. This will be his 6th start. Had a great game at Penn State, over 300 yards, Craig, in a game that Pitt should have won on the road.
Notre Dame got off to a slow start to start the season. They won 4 in a row. They took a little bit of a dip last week against Tennessee, but today, Ed, they hope to regain some of that momentum with their quarterback, Jarius Jackson.
Yeah, Jarius Jackson's had an up-and-down season. Pretty good throwing, 11th in the country in passing efficiency. But the key for Notre Dame on offense is Jarius running the ball. In the 5 wins, he's averaged over 75 yards rushing. In the 4 losses, under 10 yards rushing. His option running, his size is the key for Notre Dame on offense today, Craig.
There's the head coach of Notre Dame in his 3rd season. Bob Davie signed a 5-year extension in July. His program trying to rebuild back on solid ground. And for Walt Harris, his 3rd season also at Pitt. He was a Big East Coach of the Year back in 1997 as he led the Panthers to the Liberty Bowl. It was cloudy and cool most of the early morning here, but temperature at game time is 55 degrees. The wind will gust around 9 miles an hour. The forecast now is for partly cloudy skies here in Pittsburgh. You look at this series, Notre Dame leads 40-16-1. They have won the last 8 meetings, and their last get-together back in 1997, Notre Dame prevailed 45-21.
And Craig, defensively, as Notre Dame will receive the kickoff. Defensively, Pittsburgh, Walt Harris and his staff, Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator, they'll bring 9 guys up to the line of scrimmage. And Bob Davie and his offensive staff, Kevin Rogers, his first-year offensive coordinator, they're going to run the option. They're going to try to get Pittsburgh up around the line of scrimmage and then work on the play action later.
As Bob Davies lectures his kickoff team, you look at the last 5 meetings, it is Irish pride indeed, Eddie. Notre Dame 42-7, Irish 52-21, a shutout in 93. And then Notre Dame 60-6 in 96 and 1997. It's 45-21. The Irish pretty much have their way with Pitt, but this Pittsburgh defense, we saw them in tape and a lot of film against Miami. They are tenacious. Their cry is go, go, go until you hear the whistle.
Well, one thing Walt Harris and Larry Coyer both said, that they can't complain about the effort that they've gotten out of their team this year. They need to win their last 2 games here against Notre Dame and then against West Virginia in 3 weeks to be bowl eligible. But really, the effort that they have gotten has been sensational all year.
Well, the emotion that has been going on in this city the last couple of weeks. In fact, sold out is this stadium.
And it was fun while we were hanging out at the stadium all day yesterday, Craig, seeing people from Pittsburgh come in, walk around, and just taking photos of the old place. December 1st, they bring the wrecking balls in and start taking this place apart.
A couple of years down the road, the new stadium will be shared with the great Steelers, the Rooney family. And here we go. Pittsburgh won the toss. They chose to defer, though, until the second half and the final kickoff at Pitt Stadium. Julius Jones at the 1. Jones at the 20. Heads near sideline and is bumped out at the 29-yard line. There's Jarius Jackson, the senior from Tupelo, Mississippi.
And really, Craig, like we talked about at the Open, he's 11th in the country in passing efficiency. He controls the ball very well, does not throw a lot of interceptions, but really the key for him is controlling the ball on the ground. Larry Coyer, again, the defensive coordinator of Pittsburgh, said he's probably their best runner, 235 pounds. He's like a fullback playing quarterback.
Tony Fisher, the tailback. Good speed, the fullback for Notre Dame. They go right up the belly, and a 5-yard burst for the fullback, Joey Goodspeed. Damon Gibson made the tackle. Backs and receivers for the Fighting Irish. It's Fisher and Goodspeed. Bobby Brown and Getherall, the flanker. You saw the tight end is Holloway. Teasdale, Jones, Morandi, Gandy, and Vollers, your offensive front.
And Kurt Vollers gets his first start of 99. He comes in at the right tackle. John Teasdale moves over to left tackle because Jordan Black, who'd started every game, tore an MCL last week against Tennessee.
That was a 7-yard gain and brings up a 2nd down and 3. Pitt defense stacks up, second effort, and that's Lipinski, who got back to the original line of scrimmage, and will set that Pitt defense for you. And they will run after the football indeed. Defensively, Cachubera, Gibson, Collin, and Knight. The linebackers active in Hayes, Gonzalez, and Kareem Thompson. And the secondary of Rich, Walker, Hornack, and Poteet.
The guy to watch on defense for Pittsburgh is this man, Ramon Walker. The free safety, leads the team with 113 tackles. The impressive part, the guy who is second on the team, Mark Ponko, only has 64 tackles on the year.
3rd down, call it 2 for Notre Dame. First series here in Pitt Stadium. Jarius Jackson pitches. Fisher. Pitt trying to string it out, but not before Fisher picks up the first down and is popped out of bounds by Poteet at the 42.
The one thing as a quarterback when you're running this option is you have to make the guy who's in charge of defending you, the defensive end to the left, come and commit. That time it was Kareem Thompson, and Jackson got Thompson to commit, got the pitch out. Good blocking downfield by the receivers. Also, this is what's called a lead option. The fullback, Joey Goodspeed, not part of the triple option, becomes a double option, and Goodspeed gets out there to tie up a defender and lets Fisher go for a couple extra.
First down for the Irish at the 42. 2 wide out to the near side. Jackson so dangerous on the option, cuts it up. But again, good pursuit by the guys in black. Joe Conlon, number 98, coming up the pile, a sophomore out of Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
Take a look at the Sun America virtual playbook. One of the things, because Jarius Jackson is such a running threat, and there's things that they can do offensively running the ball, Notre Dame will call an isolation play. And as the play develops, the wide receiver, Joey Getherall, comes into motion. If that cornerback delays behind Getherall, it's an automatic read for Jarius Jackson to throw the quick out. Although they're running the isolation, it becomes a passing play. They picked up big yardage with that play this year, Craig.
Well, Pittsburgh stacking 7 guys in the box. First pass play of the afternoon, and it's complete, but not much of a gain as Joey Goodspeed hauls down his 11th catch. Take Goodspeed, 6-footer, 253 pounds, and basically, like all fullbacks, Ed, blue-collar attitude. You have to have the blue-collar thought pattern when you're a fullback.
Yeah, but Joey had his day in the sun last year against Arizona State. He had 4 rushes on the day, which is probably about average, but he broke out for 109 yards in that game. So he had his 15 minutes of fame last year.
From the shotgun now, 3rd down and 7. 3 wide receivers. This crowd will be noisy from start to finish. Jackson, good protection, throws a dart, complete, and then dropped at the 45. It was Getherall, who's a pretty sure-handed receiver from Hacienda Heights, California. 28 receptions on the season, so Notre Dame's offense will have to punt.
And one thing, Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator, early for Pittsburgh, he's got his linebackers up tight to the line of scrimmage, but then they drop out. So he gave kind of a deke look, thinking that there was going to be a blitz. Getherall cuts off his route, doesn't even get enough yards for first down, but drops it anyway.
Bill Bull, the kick, takes a big bounce up at the 18-yard line. It's Poteet chased down from behind, and he'll be spotted to the 14-yard line. We'll take a break. Scoreless here in Pittsburgh. Well, the Home Depot College football here on CBS. Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. Pitt with their first offensive series of the afternoon after stopping Notre Dame. The quarterback is Turman from the eye. Good protection. Throws the deep ball down between coverage in and out of the hands. Antonio Bryant, the freshman from Miami. Couldn't bring it down.
John Turman, the junior college transfer out of Los Medanos College. This is his 6th start of the season. Was a starter earlier in the year, gave way to David Priestley. Priestley out with a torn ligament in his throwing shoulder. Talked about the big game he had against Penn State, over 300 yards. Walt Harris very early. Walt Harris serves as his offensive coordinator, his own offensive coordinator, very early, trying to get something going. That ball was a nicely thrown ball to the very tall Antonio Bryant. Bryant just not able to come down with it.
Bryant and Lateef Grimm, your 2 wide receivers, set to the far side from the eye. 2nd down, 10. Play action. Turman, again, good protection. Played it, tucked, and down at the 10. Lamont Bryant coming in to make the tackle. Here's that Pittsburgh offense. Backs and receivers, Fiola, Goins, and Bryant. And along with Lateef Grimm, McMullen, the tight end. A senior, offensive front, Weidel, Downing, McCurley, Anderson, and Hansen.
Downey and Anderson, both redshirt freshmen, so Pittsburgh on offense has seen a lot of different looks, blitzes, things like that in the middle. That time, a blitz by Notre Dame, although the offensive line gave Turman time, he needed to get rid of that one.
3rd down and 15 for Pitt. Turman, flush from the pocket, has some running room, and he dives to the 21. Short of the first down by, let's call it 4 yards, so that brings up 4th down.
Sometimes, Craig, a guy who's in an emotional big game like this, Turman, he doesn't allow this play to develop. There's pretty good blocking in the pocket. He can just step up and continue to look. With that much yardage to go on 3rd down, he should have stayed in the pocket just a little while longer. He could have just stepped up and continued to look downfield, but a little happy feet with this much emotion on the field.
DeVolt back inside his own 10 to punt it away for Pittsburgh. And Julius Jones awaiting for the Irish. Good hang time. Fair catch taken at the 32. And that's where Notre Dame will start up their 2nd offensive set. Well, the polls are open. Vote on the coach of the century, the CBS Sportsline College Football Millennium Poll. Just click on NCAA football at cbs.sportsline.com or on America Online and enter the keyword CBS Sportsline.
Julius Jones, who was back to receive that punt, the brother of Thomas Jones, the NCAA leader in rushing from the University of Virginia, and Julius, a true freshman out of Big Stone Gap, Virginia. He's going to make a name for himself before it's all said and done at Notre Dame.
Well, you may have heard that loud gasp here at Pitt Stadium as they just announced Penn State losing. Fisher, check that, Julius Jones, cuts it to the outside and is tackled out of bounds at the 45, but flags are down around the 30. Hank Poteet made the tackle.
They're going to get Jim Jones, the left guard, for a holding on Damon Gibson as the play went to bounce out. Jones just had a hold of big number 94 and didn't let him go.
There's a look at Steve Newman, our referee. This is a Big Ten crew.
Take a look at the left guard, Jim Jones, working there on Damon Gibson. It's a little draw play, but as the play starts to bounce outside, Jones just holds with that left hand, and there was the official behind him, Steve Newman, the referee from behind, who threw the flag. You saw that left hand getting a hold of him. As the play starts to bounce, you just got to let him go.
First and 21. From the 21. Shotgun. Jackson swings it out and throws it to turf. And for an update on Tennessee and Arkansas, let's go to New York, and here's Tim Brando.
A little something, fellas, that the Hokies at Virginia Tech might be interested in. Clint Sterner looking for redemption, his third touchdown pass of the day. Anthony Lucas on the receiving end. Tennessee now inside the Arkansas 20-yard line with under 2 minutes to play. And Rutgers beat Syracuse for the first time since '86 in overtime, 24-21.
Oh my!
Everyone worried about this BCS thing. Don't worry, there's still a lot of football to be played. It's going to sort itself, I have a feeling, Greg.
Roller coaster year for Paul Pasqualoni, huh? Up in Syracuse. Second down, 21, play clock down to 1. They just got it off. Jackson pedals back 3 steps, dumps, and fires not much to the 25-yard line. Seth Hornack made the hit on Getherol. Getherol, a 2-year letterman out of Hacienda Heights. Had an 11-yard end round last week against Tennessee, so he's a threat both receiving and on the ground.
A guy they call the jockey at 5'7". He's been a real go-to guy for Jarius Jackson. Jackson talked about really concentrating on himself more than other guys. He said, with these young receivers and an offensive line very inexperienced, I was trying to do too much early on. Now I'm really just focusing on myself, and it's made a nice turnaround for him.
Again from the shotgun on 3rd down and 15. Coming up on the 9-minute mark here, opening quarter. All day to throw. In traffic, and he split the seam of 3 Pitt defenders. Incomplete to Jay Johnson. And from this point of view, looked like a catchable football, maybe a little behind him.
Yeah, that was a tough throw. There was good coverage downfield. Scott McCurley, a walk-on linebacker here at Pittsburgh, has had to play quite a bit. They've had 5 linebackers at Pittsburgh who have missed time or been out for the season since fall camp. So McCurley, a walk-on, has had to play quite a bit. Good coverage downfield by him.
Bill Bold, high snap, his first punt, carried 36 yards. This one a line drive, no chance for a return for Poteet. 44-yard line drive. Pitt will have it at their 31 when we come back. You can see great names from Pittsburgh's past of Marino and Dorsett. There's Tough Tony, won a Heisman and a national championship back in 1976. Movement and flags and a lot of finger pointing.
That's Brad Williams, who claimed that the center bobbed his head, but looks to me like the officials are going to flag Williams for the offside.
Steve Newman.
Brad Williams making his 25th straight start today.
Here's the Notre Dame defense. Irons, Legree, Williams, and Bryant, your 4 front. Denman, Nix, and Farrar, your linebackers. Secondary of Jefferson, Cooper, Sanders, and Harper. 1st and 5. Barely was Turman able to get the ball handed off. Denman, the linebacker, made the tackle. Don't know, Ed, if he got stepped on or just stumbled.
Yeah, you always feel bad when that happens. Offensive linemen are taking what's called a drop step with the inside foot to try to gain position. Sometimes you get tangled up a little bit. Turman has not been getting a lot of reps with the first team. He had been made the backup. David Priestley had come in and started the last few ball games, so still trying to work out a few kinks.
2nd down at 5. From the eye. Hand off in a nice hole. Nick Goings is going, and he got a 1st down up to the 43-yard line. Deke Cooper, the free safety, made the stop.
Brian Anderson, the right guard, number 77, is going to pull out. Here he is right here on your screen. Get a little kick-out block. And a good block by Fiola, the fullback, to spring Goings up the middle. Goings is a transfer from Ohio State. Walt Harris was coaching at Ohio State when they recruited Goings, and Goings' first college game at Ohio State was against Pittsburgh.
1st down, Pitt from the 43. Play action, Turman. Rolling near side, throws a dart complete. Lateef Grimm, 1st down Pittsburgh at the 32 of Notre Dame. And Devron Harper made the stop, a 25-yard pass play.
The #1 passing team in the Big East, that's Pittsburgh. 250 yards, a little over that per game. This time a little half rollout, controlled roll, and great body position by Lateef Grimm in front of Harper. One thing that Grimm has really worked on is his route running. That time he gets to the outside, and then he got his body back in front for Turman to look at his target.
Well, he's averaged nearly 10 receptions over his last 4 games. He has been hot for Pittsburgh. Turman on the option. Goings, stuck, leans, and picks up maybe a yard to the 31.
That's an honesty call by Walt Harris. John Turman is not the fleetest of foot. He is not Jarius Jackson, but one thing most college teams do now, every team you're going to watch is going to have some form of option regardless of what type of quarterback. Turman, more of a drop back quarterback, because it makes the defense be honest on the edge. It makes those guys play the option instead of just rushing the passer. Pittsburgh, like I said, one of the best passing teams in the country, #1 in the Big East, so they have to keep Notre Dame honest on the edge.
2nd down from the eye. Turman settles in that pocket, dances out of trouble, turns on the Jets at the 15, the 10. Down to the 9 is Turman, tackled by Cooper. But we just saw John Turman at 6'4", 6'5", with some fast feet.
Now, can I take back what I said a minute ago about him not being Jarius Jackson? Little stunt up front by Notre Dame makes the pocket collapse. Turman tucks and goes. Man-to-man coverage by Notre Dame down the field. So by the time Deke Cooper comes off of his man, it's way down, almost it's inside the 10-yard line. Good eyes by Turman.
23-yard run by Turman. 1st and goal, going for 6. Touchdown, Pitt! It's Bryant.
Craig, these are the first points in the first quarter by Pittsburgh in their last 5 games. This time, Antonio Bryant, a true freshman, going up against Clifford Jefferson. This is a big wide receiver at 6'2", 200 pounds. Got his body in front of Jefferson. We saw Lateef Grimm use body position on the last throw. That time, it was Bryant learning from the senior.
Lots in for the extra point, and the kick is up and through. 7-0 Pitt. Turman throwing his 8th touchdown in relief of Priestley. We'll be back.
Madame, monsieur, may I take your order?
Yes, the lady will have the escargot, but not for $15. We'll give you 3, and that's our final offer. And a bottle of your finest Merlot for, say, $7.50?
Oh, honey, let's get him
Excuse me, sir.
These are nice.
All right. We give you $89 for the candle holders, the water goblets, the flatware.
Like to haggle? Go to hagglezone.com, where you can buy lots of brand new stuff, and everything's negotiable.
It's the chandelier, and another 20 for your watch.
Haggle Zone. How good are you?
This is the face of erectile dysfunction. So is this. And this. Fact is, 1 in 3 men have some form of ED, a medical condition also called impotence that affects men of every age, race, and background. What else do all these men have in common? They all faced up to their problem and got help. If you're experiencing ED, there's no need to hide your face. Just talk to your doctor. It's the best way to get educated about ED and how to treat it.
A lot can change in 28 years. If you had invested $10,000 in American Century's growth fund in 1971, it would be worth a cool $1.3 million today. Our advice? Hang in there, baby. Call 1-888-ACI-FUNDS or your investment professional.
CBS Monday, a basketball superstar is slapped with a paternity suit.
The woman set me up.
But this case is going to take a turn you won't believe.
You gotta be kidding.
This isn't about stealing the ball back. This is a child.
All new Family Law, CBS Monday.
Craig Bolerjack back with Ed Cunningham in Pitt Stadium. 9-yard touchdown reception for that young man, Antonio Bryant, the top producing freshman wide receiver in Pitt history. And he just pulled down his 5th touchdown reception of the year.
Huge game against Virginia Tech. Big tops in the Big East with 13 receptions for 215 yards against a top-ranked Hokie defense.
Short kick taken by Julius Jones at the 7, finds the seam, and then taken down by the shoe tops around the 23 by DJ Dinkins. Well, tonight on CBS, it's Chuck Norris versus a 2,000-pound killing machine. Hang on for the ride of your life on an all-new Walker Texas Ranger. That's tonight on CBS. Well, if you're writing a book about the end to this stadium, opening up 7-0 is
the first chapter. Yeah, the first chapter is going pretty well.
Notre Dame back on offense. Julius Jackson under center. From the eye. Play action. Throws it up and over, and a big catch by the tight end. That's Dan O'Leary, the senior from Westlake, Ohio. And good touch by Jarius Jackson. A bit of a rainbow, and it fell right into the hands of O'Leary. 19 yards.
O'Leary's been splitting time this year with Jabari Holloway. Holloway is the starter, but because of kind of class conflicts, Holloway sometimes only makes practice 1 day a week. So this guy has really come in and done a nice job and taken advantage of the fact that he's got more playing time because of the class schedule.
It's called physics lab, Ed.
Well, when you're a computer engineer major, I guess you can be excused from practice a few times.
First down, Irish. Jackson protects and breaks down, stumbles, and hits the turf at the 30. Gerald Hayes got him right on the back of the heel.
Well, one thing that's going to tell you that this Pitt program is headed in the right direction, Craig, this is another true freshman. Gerald Hayes out of Peterson, New Jersey. You just saw Antonio Bryant catch the first touchdown for Pittsburgh, a true freshman out of Florida. Not very often you're going to see Jarius Jackson go down with one swipe of the arm. Good hustle by Hayes. He went up to try to block the pass. And remember, Larry Coyer, the defense coordinator, he'll bring anybody. Kevin Rogers, the offense coordinator at Notre Dame, said if he could suit up 12, he'd blitz them all as well.
Second sack of the season. And also a note you have to say, as Jackson takes a timeout, this linebacking core has been devastated by injuries. And a timeout. Bob Davie said, hey, let's talk. We'll be back. Eddie, a great story on Lateef Green, defensive back in high school, wanted to play wideout, no takers in college, so he went to San Jose State, won the flag football championship, and said, hey, I want to play Division I, and ended up right here at Pittsburgh. It's a great story.
1 year at junior college, he took all 60 credits in that year, so he only had to stay for a year.
Jarius Jackson buried at the 39. Gerald Hayes having himself a fine first quarter. Again in on the tackle.
But early on, Notre Dame really trying to get Jarius Jackson broken loose. In the 5 wins, we talked at the open, 75.8 yards per game, averaged nearly 6 yards per rush. In the 4 losses, Craig, under 1 yard per carry and 9.3 yards per game. So Bob Davey and his staff realize this is really the key. I mean, he has to throw it, but Craig, he's got to be able to run it to have success.
3rd down and 14, a 3-wide receiver set, 2 split to the far side, and from the shotgun. Pitt showing blitz. Here they come. Jackson stands, throws, ball tipped, incomplete. And the Irish will have to punt for the 3rd time. Gibson got the hand up, 94.
Well, and also you had a free safety, Ramon Walker, the leading tackler on this team, also came on an outside blitz. When we sat down with Larry Corey yesterday, the defensive coordinator for Pittsburgh, he said, you know, with the numbers that we have and the lack of depth, I really have to blitz a lot of guys. I wish I didn't have to, but I have to. That time he brings a free safety, got an arm on Jarius Jackson.
3rd punt for Hillbolt. Takes a big Irish bounce out of bounds around the 21-yard line. Well, tomorrow, NFL action, Miami at Buffalo. Most of you will see at 1 o'clock. Some late games, San Diego at Oakland, Baltimore at Jacksonville. It all begins with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines with Jim Nantz and the guys. That's tomorrow, high noon, Eastern time, right here on CBS.
Talking to Walt Harris yesterday, we were just talking about the depth problems. They started this season, Craig, with only 65 guys on scholarship. That's 20 less than the NCAA limit. They brought it up a little bit with some walk-ons given scholarships, but really, this is a team that is in the building process.
Turman fires on the slant, picked off by Harper, fumble, and then recovered at the 26.
This is a ball that has to be caught. Turman maybe got a little too much on this. This is Antonio Bryant, wide receiver. The ball is thrown perfectly by Turman, but maybe just a tad hard. And what great hustle by the center, Jeff McCurley, gets out there and almost picks up a double turnover. A good hit, strips the ball out from Harper, but Deke Cooper there to fall on it from Notre Dame. But that's a ball that Bryant needs to catch, Craig.
6th interception thrown by Turman, but not his fault as it came off the hands. A catchable ball by Bryant. Irish in business now after the turnover. They'll start 1st and 10 from their 26, and not much as Gerald Hayes again.
Who is this guy?
Oh, we know, a freshman, huh?
True freshman out of Peterson, New Jersey, Passaic County Tech Institute. He was a running back in high school, rushed for over 1,600 yards as a senior, so very athletic. Again, when you start to see young guys like that on the field for Pittsburgh, the recruiting is starting to work for Walt Harris.
And Hayes really would not have a chance to play but you have injuries to Guzik, Purifoy, Cody Miller has been out, Gonzalez has been hurt, Nick Cole, and the list goes on. Jackson, play action, hanging on, throws, incomplete. Well, he was in the grasp and he was about ready to hit the deck.
The strength of Jarius Jackson, we talked about, he's like a fullback playing quarterback, 235 pounds. He's got Ken Cashabara, a defensive end, draped all over him. He didn't even make an effect on him. That pass was almost completed to Gether all over the middle, but really, Craig, the one thing that the Pitt coaches talked about was this guy is just so hard to tackle.
You hit him high, he'll just bounce right off and keep going. 3rd down, 11. 3:32 to go, 1st quarter. Jackson throws and hooks up. It's going to be short, though, of the 1st down as the catch was pulled in by Getherall, the junior. Not a big guy at 5'7", 175. As you mentioned, the jockey.
And good coverage by Pittsburgh downfield. That time Poteet allowed Getherall in front of him, but wasn't going to let him get by him at that 1st down yardage, and they force a field goal because they had a good call on the defensive side of the ball. They stood there. They would not allow the receivers from Notre Dame to get by him at the 1st down yardage marker.
36-yard attempt. Sanson, the kick is away and good. So Notre Dame breaks on the scoreboard. 36-yard field goal by Sanson. Pittsburgh leads Notre Dame 7-3, 2:48 remaining here. Opening quarter. Taken, Torrey Cox, 4-yard line, has a nice hole up the middle. He goes. And knocked down to the 40-yard line. 37-yard return.
The 18-year-olds are having great games for Pittsburgh. Another true freshman, Torrey Cox. This time, they'll give a lot of credit up front. That's a big hole, Craig. He's going one-on-one with the kicker. Gets a little help from the backside pursuit, but really give all the credit. I mean, hey, nice run, Torrey, but go over there and thank all those big boys up front. They opened a nice hole for you.
He was looking at the kickers. You mentioned, but Donald Dykes came and closed the gap. First down, good field position for Pitt. They're up by a 7-3 count. Well, tomorrow on CBS, Tom Skerritt, Cicely Tyson, Charles Dutton, and Sharon Lawrence star in the world premiere miniseries Aftershock. Don't miss the spectacular special effects when New York is devastated by a massive earthquake tomorrow, right here on CBS.
Kevin Barlow gets the call on that play. He had an ankle injury earlier in the year, missed the Virginia Tech game. Leading rusher on this team with over 500 yards on the season.
Second down, 11. Turman pedals and throws a dart across midfield, and it's pulled down by Bryant, the freshman who had the touchdown, and then off his hands for a Notre Dame interception. He comes right back with another big catch and a first down for Pittsburgh, 14 yards.
What's great about being young, Craig, is you can have a real short-term memory. This young guy, we met with him the other day. We said, you know, from Miami, Florida, you come up to Pittsburgh. What was the hardest adjustment? He said it's the hills. This camp is built right on the side of a hill.
Well, they pass now back to the ground. Not much as Grant Irons made the stop on Fiola.
But finishing up the story with Antonio Bryant from Miami, Florida. Miami, very flat.
Oh, yeah.
He comes to Pittsburgh. He said the hardest adjustment was the hills. He said, I knew it was tough to walk around here when I saw these women in pretty dresses, and they had tennis shoes on instead of their dress shoes.
2 catches, 23 yards in the touchdown. 2nd and 9. Panthers from the eye. Some movement, but no flags, and a sack.
Well, Craig, that was an early snap by the center, Jeff McCurley. He snapped it on 1. Everybody else was going on 2. Shocked Turman. Turman tried to run out the play. But no one will move on the offensive front except McCurley, the center. And, okay, Grant, we're going to give you the sack. You get that in your stats, but that's not really fair. You didn't have to do anything. Grant had a great game last week against Tennessee. Good to see him playing. He got kicked in the left leg. Was barely able to walk until Wednesday of this week.
And a quick kick. Turman has done this a couple of times. And a very effective inside the 10. Rolling, picked up and down at the 6-yard line.
Well, that's right on his average, a 50-yarder. He'd done that twice before this season. Was averaging 50 yards, so he didn't want to hurt his average. This is one thing. 3rd and long, Walt Harris has done this. This is the 4th time this season. And an excellent job of executing the kick by Turman. You don't really have to boom one because there's nobody back from Notre Dame. Just get a little roll.
He cracked a smile, helping out his team. Sending Notre Dame back to the 7.
And Craig, if you're Pittsburgh's defense, you've got to have a lot of pride in how you've played. Even though they've given up those 3 points, that was a win by them because of the quick turnover deep in their own territory. And Larry Coyer really is starting to get into a groove here, calling some of these blitzes.
7 guys in the block box, and now they pitch it. They spread out that Pitt Panther defense. Julius Jones, the freshman from Big Stone Gap, Virginia. We talked to him. Hey, where is Big Stone Gap?
I'm from Virginia, and I didn't know where it was, so I had to ask him. He said it's right down on the border of Tennessee. Not a lot of people. We talked to him about his brother, Thomas Jones, at the University of Virginia, the leading rusher in the college in the NCAAs. And said really no competition between us because he's so much older. He said, but trust me, I followed him around and learned from his example.
Picked up a few moves, I would think. Gets the call again, takes a hard shot. Down to the 16, maybe a yard. Final seconds of the first quarter ticking down here.
And that was Kareem Thompson who came in from his outside backer spot and got a nice shot.
Injured player stops the clock with 1 second.
And as they reach up inside that shoulder pad, you start to think maybe a stinger or a dislocated shoulder. But Kareem Thompson right now, number 22 for Pittsburgh, has what's called the BAT Award for the season. That is an award given out by Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator. And with hits like this, it's no wonder the BAT Award given for the big hit of the year. Top of your screen, Kareem Thompson comes from the outside unblocked. Gets a great shot on Julius Jones. We take a look, and it's Thompson who was down. There's a look at Larry Coyer. We had a great conversation with him yesterday. Very emotional about this stadium. He's only been here 3 years, but he said, I've really spent a lot of time this week letting my players know the history that's gone on in this building.
You can see in the eyes the pain of Kareem Thompson, a three-year letterman out of Roanoke, Virginia. And now Notre Dame will just let the final seconds of the first quarter tick down. And that ends the first quarter. Pitt leading 7-3. We'll return to Pitt Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. The hometown Pitt Panthers up on Notre Dame 7-3. It's third down and 1 for the Irish. Full house backfield. First down and more as Tony Fisher follows off the left side of Vollers and Jim Jones, and Walker, the free safety, made the tackle.
We were talking about Pittsburgh and their lack of depth at linebacker because of injury. Notre Dame has faced the same problem at running back. Really down to 2 running backs, Tony Fisher and Julius Jones. And Julius Jones earlier in the week said, you know, as a true freshman, it's good to get all those reps, but now I'm getting tired of it. I mean, this is a lot of practice time.
First and 10, Notre Dame. 3 wide receivers. Jackson shotgun. And now whistles will stop play. I look at the play clock and I see a goose egg.
Yeah, you've got to get it off before it gets to 0.
Before?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's what the rule says.
Here's Steve Newman.
Dead ball. Delay a game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Now, I don't know if it's the relay getting in the plays, if they're coming in late or whatever, but that's twice Notre Dame had to burn a timeout in the first quarter, and now they get a penalty deep in their own territory.
You know, Ed, I've watched them the last couple of times on the field. They're exchanging 3, sometimes 4 players per play.
Well, that's one thing Kevin Rogers has always done, is change a lot of personnel, but sometimes, Craig, it takes a little too much time to do that.
Looking at the play clock, down to 6, down to 5, down to 4. Lipinski, the fullback, picks up 1 up to the 21. Brandon Dewey makes the tackle. Let's get an update on Mississippi State, Alabama. And here's Tim Brando.
Hey, Ed Cunningham, from your postseason has a way of working itself out department. Wayne Madkin, a 3-yard strike. The Bulldogs, the most disrespected, unbeaten team in America, leading Alabama at Alabama.
And Alabama.
Yes, Tim, Mr. Brando, things do seem to work themselves out on the field instead of in computers, don't they?
Second down at 12. Jackson pedals, now tucks and runs. Makes a nice move about the 23 and picks up yardage to the 27. Gerald Hayes again, the freshman for Pittsburgh. In on the stop. That's at least 4 tackles for the freshman.
Yeah, but give some credit to Damon Gibson, the senior defensive tackle. You know, we've made a lot about this being the last game in Pitt Stadium for the program. It's also the last game at home for these seniors. And Damon Gibson, one of the seniors, is having a really fine game. That time he chased Jarius out of the pocket and let Hayes make the tackle.
Brown and Getherald are split out on 3rd down and 6. Under 13 minutes left in the half. Julius Jackson throws incomplete. Out of the reach of Bobby Brown. And that brings up a punting situation for the Irish.
And once again, it's the blitz package of Larry Coyer. Now, Kevin Rogers, the first-year coordinator at Notre Dame, out of Syracuse. So he's coached against Pittsburgh several times. Larry Coyer has a lot of respect for him, and vice versa. Kevin Rogers talked about Larry Coyer. He said this is one of the hardest defensive coordinators to get ready for because of all of his blitz packages. That time again, Hayes came free and made Jackson throw the ball early.
Bill Bolt back to punt for the 4th time. Hank Poteet at his own 35-yard line. Nice kick. Good hang time. Fair catch. Poteet takes it at the 33-yard line. And that's where Pitt will start up. And we'll be back. 75 when tough Tony Dorsett ran the Irish defense for 303 yards here at Pitt Stadium behind a dominating front offensive line. Dorsett ran his way into the history books in this stadium. And with us in the booth right now, we're pleased to bring in the guy, tough Tony Dorsett. Boy, the emotions today must be very heavy for you, playing great years in the stadium.
Well, absolutely, guys. You know, it's an opportunity for most of us former players to sit back and reflect back on the fun memories that we have here. Have had here at Pitt Stadium. You know, this stadium has been such a landmark here at the university and for the city of Pittsburgh for a long time, and it's really a sad day.
Tony, looking back at your career, is there one moment in this stadium that you really remember as being the best?
Well, let me tell you, you know, we had a great day and a great game against the Fighting Irish back in, I think, 75, you know, my junior year. And we had an outstanding day running the football. I think I ran for over 303 yards. We've seen some highlights here. But that was a big day and a big win for us.
We're talking about a big day and a big win. How about that? Big reception down to the 21-yard line, and Turman having himself a fine first half.
Almost looks like Matt Cavanaugh throwing that ball, doesn't it?
Well, you know, Matt may have gotten it right over the defender's head and dropped it right into the breadbasket, but it was a good catch, good play.
Johnny Sanders on the coverage, but Lateef Grimm never gave up on it. Lateef Grimm, the leading receiver in the Big East, and one of the guys that Walt Harris has had to bring in from a junior college to kind of help this program start to build up. Can you see this program starting to make some headway?
Well, absolutely. You know, Walter Harris and Steve Peterson, our athletic director, those two people are spearheading a great move right now for the University of Pittsburgh. We really feel these guys will get the job done here and bring the Pitt Panther program back to prominence.
Injured Pitt Panther down after that 40-yard reception by Lateef Grimm.
Oh,
man. When they retired your jersey, usually they wait for a couple of years, but you got it done at halftime of a game against West Virginia.
I think it's folded up, and they just kind of hand it to you.
Was that a little strange being actually still here when it was retired?
Well, yes, in some regards, yes. But it was a really emotional time for me, you know, being out there at midfield with Coach Majors and Cass Mascalinski, our athletic director at the time, and to be here behind right here with the fans that you know I spent so many years playing for here at the University of Pittsburgh. So it's always a good feeling and so memorable when you could do it at home in front of your own fans.
Tony, give me your thoughts about this stadium. It's going to come down. They're going to start the process December 1st, but yet the Steelers and the Panthers will share that facility. Is that just a step up in the way college football is going nowadays?
Well, we like to hope so. You know, with a lot of colleges you see today, they're having their own football stadiums on campus. I think that's part and a vital part of the college experience in itself. You know, I'm a person, you know, if the university wants to do that, I'm all for that, and I'm happy for them, and I'm hoping it's going to help with recruiting. But when you look at society as a whole today, you know, you have everything being based on simplicity and convenience with internets and things like that. And in my opinion, from that standpoint, it may be taking a step backwards, but from a facility standpoint, you know, it'll be first class.
Tony, you look great. Thanks for coming by, and continued success.
It's been an honor.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it.
That's tough Tony Dorsett. Great career here, 76 national champions and the Heisman Trophy winner. Pittsburgh knocking on the door, trying to open up on that 7-3 lead, and incomplete is the call.
You know, it's funny, when we talked to Bob Davie this week, he was talking about all these old players coming back and Bob Davie has ties to Pittsburgh. His first job in college was a graduate assistant in 1977 here at Pittsburgh. But he said, you know, you had Tony Dorsett coming back. Ironhead Hayward is here. Bill Fralick is here. He said, you know, it's going to be great to see those guys, but they haven't passed a special rule that those guys can suit up, can they?
You know, just looking at Tony, does he not look like he can just put a pad on, the pad's on right now, and run you for a couple of carries? Turman going for 6, complete. Down inside the 15 to the 11-yard line, and Julius Dixon made the catch, and Sapp, the free safety, made a whole hit on him. It's going to be close to the first down. They may have to bring the chains, but
No, Craig, he got to the 5-yard line, needed to get to about, or excuse me, the 10. Needed to get to about the 10.5, but that time just a really nice job by Turman. He's starting to settle himself down a little bit early. He was pulling the ball and running a little quick. Now he's letting some things develop. That time he went to about his 3rd outlet, which was Dixon, and Dixon runs a nice route to get enough yardage for the first down.
1st and 10, just outside the 10. Turman throws in traffic, ball up, incomplete. Boy, dangerous throw as he threw into triple coverage. McMullen, the tight end, the intended receiver. Tario Harrison, 51, back on coverage for Notre Dame.
And Pitt fans and Walt Harris and everybody around happy to see number 83, Lateef Grimm, back in the lineup. The combination of Lateef Grimm and Bryant, they went 3 games in a row, Craig, this year. They went against Boston College, Rutgers, and Virginia Tech, both of them over 100 yards receiving. So this is a really potent duo for Pittsburgh.
2nd down and 10, 2 wide out to the far side. On the ground, here comes Pitt. Little hop, skip, and a jump. Harrison makes the tackle.
It's good to see Kevin Barlow back healthy. A big back at 6'1", 235 pounds, but very good feet. This time a little trap play by the fullback. Gets tripped up, not able to get a block on the linebacker, Tario Harrison, but Barlow struggled with an ankle injury, missed the Virginia Tech game, but now looks like he's full speed. This is a guy that they need to be healthy to have a little balance with that great passing attack.
3rd down and 6. Turman throws in zone, incomplete. The freshman Bryant tried to pull it with one hand, but good coverage by Clifford Jefferson on the corner.
And these defensive coordinators on both sides having some fun bringing safeties. That time Greg Madison, who's Bob Davies' defensive coordinator, brought a safety unblocked. They just, when you have numbers, Greg, when you blitz more than can be blocked, it's up to the quarterback to get rid of it. That time he goes for the fade to Bryant, but just overthrew him a little bit.
24-yard attempt. 24-yard field goal attempt by Nick Lutz. Little chip shot up, and from 24 yards, it's good. And Pitt builds a 10-3 lead. Well, the Home Depot College Football on CBS will continue after this message and a word from your local station. And Pittsburgh leading Notre Dame by a touchdown. 10:18 left here in the opening half. Pitt Stadium. The doors will close. Hard to believe it after 75 years. This is the final game in this great stadium.
But after the conversation with Tony and Tony Dorsett, you realize the emotion a guy like that would feel. I mean, such a big part of the history here. But really, for the advantage in recruiting that Pittsburgh needs to go against some of the programs in this country and what they're doing, they need to upgrade. And not only are they going to upgrade their stadium, moving into a state-of-the-art, but they're going to be the first team in college football to have a practice facility right across the river. They'll have their own setup facility, 4 grass fields, 70-yard indoor AstroTurf field. It's going to be as good as any NFL franchise.
Medical facility, a rehab facility that one of the local hospitals is building here. It'll be shared by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, they put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into it. And these are things that, as Pittsburgh goes to the next century, they need to start to do to become an elite program.
Pittsburgh by 7. Out of bounds. Flag is down. Well, tomorrow on CBS is the conclusion of the Franklin Templeton Shark Shootout. And here's the leaderboard, guys. Couples and Duval at 21 under. McCarron and Hope 6 shots back. That's tomorrow, 4 Eastern, right here on CBS.
You know, Craig, they play part of that tournament as a scramble. You think they let them buy mulligans?
Oh.
Balloons on their cards they can cut as they play one of their mulligans?
Irish down 7 with the football. Wedges straight ahead. Smash mouth football as Lipinski whose dad also played at Notre Dame, hit by Gonzalez, the middle backer, who has missed some time because of a right knee injury.
Tom Lipinski is Tom Jr. because his father, Tom, was a defensive back.
Nice hair. Back
in the 70s. Well, it was the 70s, Craig.
Yeah,
Give me a hard time. He actually, in 1975, had 4 interceptions. He was tied for the team lead that year.
Second down, 8. Jackson, quarterback keeper, driven down. Oh, boy, I tell you, that is just picture-perfect tackling by Ramon Walker, the free safety.
Here's a guy who's a redshirt freshman. Believe it or not, he's not a true freshman, but Ramon Walker came into this game with 113 tackles on the season. A great hitter, goes nice and low on a 235-pound quarterback. One thing Larry Coyer has not allowed Walker to do is tackle during the week. He said, a guy who's making this many tackles, I've got to save his body for Saturday afternoons. As a redshirt freshman, he didn't think he was physically ready to make this many plays, Craig.
Yeah, 5'11", 190. There's Walker, 4 wide outs, downfield, picked, then dropped. And it was Walker who had that one tracked down. Would have been his second interception, but could not hang on.
And what a nice job by Walker reading Jarius Jackson's eyes. Jarius sticks with the receiver the whole time, and right from the left side of your screen, Walker comes over, Craig. He's going to be dreaming about that one. It's going to be a nightmare is the only problem.
Well, Pittsburgh will have it back. Bill Bolt again, punting, nearly had it blocked, but got it away. Poteet pedals back inside his 15. Poteet heads near sideline 25. Cut down and squeezes up to the 30-yard line. Carlos Pierre-Antoine made the special teams tackle, a 48-yard punt and a 12-yard return. They're looking at it, looks to be his left elbow. We'll keep you posted on that. Arnaz Battle, a sophomore, backs up Jarius Jackson. Right now, Pittsburgh has the football and a nice gain up to the 35-yard line. Tario Harrison making the hit on Nick Goins.
Goins, a good, powerful runner inside, 215 pounds, but looks like just a little ding on the elbow, going to pad it up. Luckily not on his throwing arm for Jarius Jackson.
A 5-yard pickup, second down 5. Pittsburgh up 10-3.
Oh, that's a savvy center there, Craig.
You would know.
Jeff McCurley, the junior, out of Enon Valley, Pennsylvania. When Notre Dame jumps into the neutral zone, very wisely snaps the ball to pick up an easy 5 and a first down.
Hard to snap. Offside by contact on the defense. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
You always wish you could do this as a center, be heads up enough, but as soon as Antoine Jones gets into the neutral zone, McCurley snaps it. Remember, McCurley snapped it early on a sack for Grant Irons, so made up for it that time, pick up the easy first down for his team.
No, Ed, as I looked at that replay too, he was able to hold that ball up into the hands of Turman as well, not to chance a fumble. Not much, back and stacked up at the 40.
Good point, Craig. When you do pull that off as a center, you are supposed to hold on to it because you're not sure if your quarterback is ready to receive the snap. McCurley's brother is a walk-on linebacker. Scott McCurley, who's had to play quite a bit with all the injuries, actually ended up starting 4 games. So it's a brother thing here at Pittsburgh.
Interesting stat here in the first half. Notre Dame now flagged 4 times for 26 yards. Pitt playing a perfect game in the penalty department and lead by 7. Second down, 10. Turman, flags are down. Turman has running room up midfield and is popped from behind. Deke Cooper wrapped him up, but a flag back around the 34-yard line.
Well, what'd you expect? You just said they were playing a perfect game penalty-wise.
Never fails, does it? And the first yellow hanky on Pitt.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Remains second down.
Now, we had the same thing last week. The new rule in college football is on a pass play, the holding goes from the line of scrimmage. Now, because that started as a pass play but ended as a run play, now it goes from the spot of the foul. So now that makes it 2nd down and 26 instead of 2nd down and 20, Craig. And a 16-yard penalty instead of a 10-yarder because it turns into a running play.
Good look at Walt Harris. 2nd down, 26. 2 wideouts to the far side. Turman, good protection, has some room, throws, incomplete.
That was a little dangerous, Craig.
Well, floating around back there for Notre Dame, I believe it was Johnny Sanders, number 5, nearly had himself an interception.
Yeah, if you're going to throw that back to the middle of the field, if you're John Turman, you don't want to let that ball float. The one place that Bob Davie has a lot of experience is in his defensive backfield, and Johnny Sanders, 3 out of the 4 are seniors. He's one of them. With that ball floating, able to make a jump on the ball and almost come up with the interception.
And Johnny Sanders just one of those guys that knows football. 8 career picks, nearly got number 9. 3rd down and a half a mile. Turman throws, good velocity and incomplete. He wanted his freshman Bryant up around the 40, and that will bring up punting situation for Pittsburgh.
And really that time the call by Walt Harris just trying to get some field position back for his team, trying to get it back to the original line of scrimmage, but now they'll have to punt from deep in their own territory. Really just a good call by Walt Harris, but not able to execute on offense.
DeBolt just outside his own 10-yard line. Julius Jones awaits the kick. Good high hanger. Who kicks back, and it gets a Notre Dame roll at the 42. Well, Monday on CBS, when a hot waitress hits on the King of Queens, get ready for the ego trip of a lifetime. That's right, Kevin James stars in an all-new King of Queens. That's Monday right here on CBS.
And there Bob Davie comes up with good field position. Walt Harris was trying to get some back on that 3rd and a mile. Not able to do it. DeBolt doesn't get off a great punt, so Darius Jackson takes over. Very good field position for the Irish.
Keep an eye on his left elbow. Boy, good hard hit Tony Fisher took as he popped through the front line up to the 44, and it was Mark Ponko.
You know, you can't talk enough about these guys and the effort that Pittsburgh gives. When we sat yesterday with Larry Coyer in his office, he got so excited. He said, you know, these guys brighten my day. I put in the film and I see some of these teams we have to play, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, and I say, how are we going to stand up? We just don't have enough guys. But then I go in and meet with my players, and they make everything right because of their effort.
2nd on 8. Jackson, good protection. Hooks up. Strike to Bobby Brown. 1st down Irish at the 44. Gerald Hayes came back from his strong side linebacker position to make the tackle.
Bobby Brown, year by year in his career, had the huge year as a sophomore, led the team with 45 receptions, but has seen his productivity decline. This year it's because of the emergence of Joey Getherall, but sophomore year there were big, bright things ahead for Bobby Brown.
He now has 78 career receptions, over 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns in his career. Boy, dancing through traffic, Julius Jones. Looked like he had a big hole off the right side, but again, film that we looked at, Ed, the last couple of days. Pittsburgh is just a pursuit team, and the echo is go, go, go until you hear the whistle.
And this time again, Damon Gibson, a senior from right here in Pittsburgh, PA, gets in late on the tackle, but that's what you have to do. Julius Jones, a very powerful runner. If you saw him against Tennessee last week, he can bounce off of those tackles. You've got to get a lot of guys around the ball when number 22's carrying it.
2nd down and 7. Getherall and Brown lines up. They line up to the near side. Under 5 minutes left in the half. Look for the end around, and here it comes. It's Getherall. Oh, he made a cut and was stopped and hit and down by Ramon Walker. Had he made the big turn, it looked like clear sailing.
Craig, you're going to get excited when you see a guy like this. The speed of Ramon Walker. This is a fantastic call by Kevin Rogers because nobody on defense. Watch the 2 safeties. They're both going to read the option to the left. but Ramon Walker stops his field, and watch the burst of speed to stop this play after a 2-yard gain. That is sensational safety play by Ramon Walker, and you cannot coach that, Craig. That's a burst to the football.
Pure speed, 4 wide receivers. 3rd down and 6. Jackson, good protection, throws it up. Complete. First down, Irish at the 15. It was Bobby Brown. Let's go to New York. Tim Brando has an update on Rod Dane.
That's right, Craig. He has broken the all-time rushing mark held by Ricky Williams. He did it on a 31-yard run from scrimmage. He has 124 yards on the day, 6,305 career yards and counting. He broke it before halftime against Iowa. That's not a surprise considering their defense.
1976 was when the record was set by Tony Dorsett, who we just had in the booth. 1998, it was broken, and then, you know what? Once you break a record, you might as well just keep breaking it.
Keep going. That's pretty good company, though, huh? Mr. Dane, Ricky Williams, Tony Dorsett. First down, Irish. Jackson on the pitch. Julius Jones. Not much. Punko pursuing at the 16-yard line.
Count the number of blue jerseys running to the ball. The problem they're going to run into at Pittsburgh is the numbers. They just don't have a lot of guys that they can substitute on defense. Look at the hustle, guys flying to the ball, Craig. As this game wears on, Notre Dame's going to have to continue to run it. They have to take some of that energy away from Pittsburgh.
Second down and 12. Both coaches pondering on the sideline. 3:18 left in the first half. Oh, what a hit from behind. That ball was right on the mitts of Brown, but he took a shot, and it was knocked away.
Demetrius Rich, another freshman out of Pulaski, Pennsylvania. You go down this list, Craig, and there's just not a whole lot of juniors and seniors on this team.
Well, you got McCurley, you got Hayes, freshman. Walker and Rich in the defensive backfield are both freshmen. A couple of sophomores and Ponko.
And that's what Walt Harris talked about. He said, you know, I want to build this program right. I talk more about graduating people than I do about winning games. Sometimes you have to chase a few people off, Craig, to get things started in the right direction.
And he's done that. Timeout. Will step aside. We'll be back. Ball here on CBS and a good first half. Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, 3:12 remaining. This drive has gone 7 plays, 41 yards, nearly 3.5 minutes off the clock. And Jarius Jackson has been 2 of 3 in the passing department for 37 yards. Here he lines up shotgun. 3rd down, 12. Jackson going for the touchdown. On his feet, struggling, down at the 3-yard line. It was Bobby Brown, and what a battle with Demetrius Rich. Nearly broke the tackle and got into the end zone.
And a great call by Kevin Rogers, the offensive coordinator. Didn't really need to go for the touchdown. Needed to get inside the 5 for the first down, but Bobby Brown fighting for everything he can, nearly falls into the end zone. And if you're Bob Davie, the tough season that Notre Dame has had, it's really nice to see guys like Bobby Brown fighting for everything they can get.
And Bobby Brown, pretty good target at 6'2", around 200 pounds. First and goal, Notre Dame from the 2. Or the handoff. Stuff. It was Gibbons. And Rich came up and made the stick.
David Gibbons is a flanker, listed as a flanker in this offense, lines up as a running back, has good size at 6'1", 218. Because of all the injuries, Craig, that Notre Dame has had in the offensive backfield, Bob Davie has to go with a guy who's been playing flanker all year down inside the goal line.
10th play of the drive, upcoming. 2nd and goal from just inside the 1-yard line. Long snap count, Jackson, handoff, flags.
Probably a little movement inside from Notre Dame. Luckily for Notre Dame, they're going into the end of the end zone where their fans are all being very quiet for them.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Boy, when you get inside that 1 yard line,
big.
It's called holding your water. You have to hold your water. Not a lot of noise at that end of the field, Craig. So as an offensive lineman, you should not have a problem hearing Jarius Jackson call the snap count, but that's a big penalty.
Well, now second down and goal, Edit. Instead of inside the 1, now it's just inside the 6. And a timeout whistled here on the field.
And a good timeout by Walt Harris because he knows he's going to have to save some clock for when they get the ball back on offense.
Well, coming up on the AXA halftime report, Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman will bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights. What a day it has been, a day of upsets. All that and more coming up on the AXA halftime report.
Mr. Brando better get in there and talk about my Huskies a little bit.
They got a chance.
I don't know what they're doing against UCLA today.
Got a chance for that Rose Bowl. You've been watching that all week.
Walt Harris, what a class guy. When we spent some time with him yesterday, talking about the obligation that he felt to this game. Talked about the history of it. He understands it. And he said, you know, I feel an obligation to coach my best game and have my players play their best game. And so far, Craig, he cannot be ashamed at how his team is playing. They're playing very well.
And Ed, here's the quote that I came away from Walt Harris yesterday. Coaches make players do what they don't want to do so they can become the players they want to be.
Well, I know what they want to do. They want to beat the Irish. And everybody you talk to across the board at Notre Dame, every coach you talk to has an immense amount of respect for Walt Harris, not only as an offensive mind, he's a very good offensive coach, but he talks about how well schooled this team is. 65 scholarship guys starting the year, Craig, is a decimated program, and what he has done has been fantastic.
On the other side, Bob Davie. They have many hopes to put Notre Dame back in the national limelight. He just signed on in July, which was very big, a new 5-year deal.
He said, I don't really pay attention to external. I just know internally things are fine.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you get a 5-year deal, everything's looking real fine. Second down goal from the 6. Jackson, play fake, going up top. Touchdown, Irish. Joey Getherall. That's his 3rd reception for a touchdown this season.
Getherall's lined up to the right side of the field, and as Jarius Jackson rolls to his left, he's being chased by Ramon Walker and just cannot keep up with number 18, one of the fastest players on the field for Notre Dame. That's tough duty for a safety to chase a guy all the way across the field like Ramon Walker did with Getherall there.
Sanson will try to tie it, and the extra point is good. 10-10 our score here in Pittsburgh. Score, a minute 32 remaining before we break for halftime. Not a seat to be had here at Pitt Stadium.
You're getting treated to a nice show the last game at Pitt. Couldn't ask for much more, could you?
Sanson will kick. Torrey Cox back to receive. Little number up on the ground, taken inside the 20-yard line to the 30, up to the 34. Well, Friday on CBS, the government has taken an average guy's brain and placed it in the perfect body. It's the new drama critics call mesmerizing, addictive, and unlike anything else in prime time. Catch an all-new Now and Again. That's Friday on CBS.
Average guy's brain. They could have just stole mine.
You said it. I almost did.
I stole your thunder.
You did. Turman nearly at 98 yards passing in this half. Pitt and Notre Dame tied at 10. Big hole near midfield. And the ball carrier, Nick Goings, sapped the free safety, knocked him down.
And we got a hurry-up offense by Pittsburgh with a minute 22 to go and only one timeout left. It looks like they caught Notre Dame off guard, and Notre Dame has to burn a timeout to get everything set up on their defense.
Well, Goings rumbles for 14 yards, and Turman comes over to talk.
There's a look at Greg Madison, the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. He spent from 1992 to 96 at Michigan and went head-to-head against Walt Harris while Walt was at Ohio State. He said, if you're doing something wrong on defense, Walt Harris will find it. And that time, Madison not ready for the 2-minute drill, so he has to burn another timeout to get his guys set up and ready for the hurry-up.
And both Pitt and Notre Dame with one timeout remaining and a lot of time here left in the second quarter, 1:21. Little chess match now between the two sides.
Big guy with his back to us, Tom Freeman, the offensive line coach. Thanks, Tom, for turning around right there.
On cue.
26 years of coaching the offensive line. It's been places like Arizona State. Played at San Diego State for Don Coryell. We sat and watched him the other day going through some of his blitz drills. And boy, rapid fire now. You think he's seen some changes in the game in 26 years?
Oh, yeah. We talked to him, and again, we keep talking about defensive coordinator for Pittsburgh, Larry Coyer. I mean, he's been around the game so long. You could sense the respect of not only the game, but for this stadium.
Yeah, he's only been here 3 years, but he knows you give him the name Hugh Green and guys like that. He understands Bill Moss, the type of players that walk on this field.
First down, Pittsburgh. Turman in traffic, intercepted at the 44 by Denman.
And this is one thing that John Turman, without getting a lot of reps, he's not going to see Denman, the middle linebacker, in the 4-3 defense. When you throw the ball to the middle of the field, you have to know where the Mike linebacker is. Denman does nothing but drop out in the middle and read the eyes of the quarterback. Turman made a misread there, did not see where the Mike linebacker was, and Denman comes up with his first interception, a big one for Notre Dame. Minute 16 and a timeout left, plenty of time.
Goings was the intended receiver. Notre Dame in business at the 45. Jackson, good protection, dumps it underneath. Caught and then hit, and I'm talking hit. Hornack was there, and a good catch by Bobby Brown, but oh my, did he paid for it. Coming up on a minute remaining.
It was Seth Hornack who came in and laid the hit. The only problem was he got more of Ryan Gonzalez, the linebacker, than he did of the Notre Dame receiver.
4-yard gain, second down 6 for the Irish. Shotgun. Jarius Jackson steps up, throws with a pitch and catch, and another grab by Bobby Brown. And he takes it to the 41. He drags Demetrius Rich with him.
Boy, Bobby Brown has come to this game to play today, Craig. He understands the history, I guess, playing as hard as anybody's playing on that field. He almost stretched one into the end zone. That time fought real hard to try to get out of bounds.
Now Brown, 5 receptions here in the first half for 67 yards. First and 10, Notre Dame, 39 ticks left on the first half clock. Jackson's gone for the shotgun pretty much all day. And again, good protection. Watch out backside. And he gets popped. Never saw him coming. 57, Brian Knight. That's his 3rd sack.
And that's not a blitz, Craig. That's just good one-on-one rush. Brian Knight going up against left tackle John Teasdale is going to come from the left side of your screen. That's just good one-on-one pass rush by Brian Knight. Gets his 3rd sack of the season. And Notre Dame has to burn another timeout because this sack puts them to 3rd and 14.
Knight, only a sophomore out of Buffalo, New York. As you just mentioned, Ed, Irish burning out that final timeout. Pittsburgh still one remaining if they would need. 26 seconds remain.
And now things have to change offensively. You can still do things to the middle of the field. Of course, 3rd and 14, your number one obligation is to get the first down. But in college football, the rule with a first down, the clock stops till they reset the chains. But really, with 3rd and 14, you just have to have that goal. We got to get 15 yards for that first down.
I tell you, weather-wise, guys with the shirts off, I tip my hat to you. It's not bad. And I really kind of thought in the middle of November nearly now, Ed, we'd be looking at maybe a little snow.
No, it's a beautiful day. I need to correct myself. 2nd and 14, the scoreboard deked me there. So they do have 2 plays. The problem, Craig, if they want to throw one to the middle of the field with 26 seconds left and not get the first down, may burn too much time.
Boy, Pittsburgh's defense has done a job here. They've allowed over the season at 372 yards per game average. And they have had their way so far with Notre Dame, despite being up 10-10 or tied at 10-10. Second and 13. Shotgun again is Jackson. Pocket collapses. Jackson throws incomplete. Jay Johnson, the intended receiver, and that stops the clock with 21 seconds remaining.
And this is the old I'll meet you at the quarterback. Ken Cashabera lined up on the left defensive end spot, and Brian Knight on the right are going to get to Jarius Jackson right at the same time. The old high-low, I don't care how strong Jarius is when you got two defensive ends draped all over you, and that's two big plays in a row by Brian Knight.
You know, every coach in America, when they see the quarterback get hit high-low, there's that moment of fear.
Sure.
Third down, 13. Backs are split, 3 wideouts. Jackson shotgun. Stands, throws in coverage. And the ball is ruled complete at the 27. Boy, Pittsburgh's sideline saying no reception, but the official right on the spot says it's good.
And they're going to have a little conference. It sounded like it was a double pop. It sounded like it hit the ground.
Can't tell from that angle.
Oh, we got to get Brian Beinecke out of our way so we can see it. Oh, he got his hands underneath there, Craig. That's a good catch by Bobby Brown. The official's talking about it, but clearly Bobby Brown got his hands underneath that ball and made the catch. The double pop I heard was the ball hitting his hands and bouncing up.
I hear Bobby Brown. He's vocal.
Oh, he's got to be in there fighting for it. Even if he'd have dropped it, he'd be in there fighting for it, Craig. Oh, he's not liking what he's hearing.
One official said good. Now they've had the conference.
Oh, okay.
They protect and spike and stop the clock for an opportunity for a field goal with 12 seconds remaining.
No, actually, you have time to run a play. The thing you have to be careful about, though, is if the play is too far down the field and doesn't get out of bounds, you have the chance the clock can run out. Everybody remembers Notre Dame had some clock management problems early in the season against Michigan and Purdue, but you do have time to run one more.
Second down, 10, 12 ticks left from the 27 of Pittsburgh. Jackson throwing up top. Bump. And late flags now tossed in.
It's going to get overruled, though, Craig. The field judge in the corner of the end zone went with the motion of an uncatchable ball. The official in the middle of the field was the one who threw the flag. They're having a conference, and I believe they're going to wave this off. Walt's saying, he's not saying I need a haircut. He's saying that ball was uncatchable.
Couple of interesting calls here in the final seconds of the second quarter. Steve Newman, our referee.
But I like the call by Bob Davie and his offensive coordinator, Kevin Rogers. You had time for one more. If you're going to throw it to the end zone, and also throw it to the side of the end zone so that if it's incomplete, no question there's pass interference on Demetrius Ridge. But the ball thrown clearly out of the back of the end zone. A good no call, a good wave-off call by the officials.
Well, it's Sanson in for a 45-yard attempt. He hit a 36-yarder in the first quarter to put Notre Dame on the board.
And Notre Dame has had 2 field goal blocks so far this year, Craig. This one could be a low-line drive because of the distance.
Well, Jim Sanson from 45, blocked again at the line of scrimmage. What are you, a mind reader? Oh, what a half.
Watch the middle of the formation. You cannot blame Sanson on that one. Number 41, Scott McCurley, came absolutely free right here in the middle of your screen. Nobody touches him because he blocks it with his face mask, Craig. Cannot blame Sanson on this one. Although the ball, it doesn't get up very quickly, McCurley comes absolutely scot-free. First name Scott, I had to get that in there. To block this kick with his face mask in Pittsburgh. A lot of momentum going into the locker room at halftime.
Walt Harris, oh, thank you, sir. McCurley a walk-on freshman. That ends the first half. Our score tied up at 10. We now take you to Tim Brando in our New York studios. Tim.
1934. 1936. 1937. And 1976.
We'll be back with the second half after this. Jack back along with Ed Cunningham. Ed, bottom line here, how much emotion has played in this first half of play?
Yeah, it's been huge. Walt Harris, the coach of Pittsburgh, told us that this was a huge game, that they had to coach and play their best game, and he's getting that. A couple of mistakes early kept Notre Dame in the game, but has to be very happy with the emotion and the effort that his team has played with.
You got to remember that Pittsburgh won the toss to start this game. They deferred. They wanted it to start this third quarter, and they get their wish. A good kick and no return, so Pittsburgh will start their first drive of the second half at their own 20-yard line. And Ed, let's take a look at the first half numbers.
Well, and I mentioned the mistakes, the 2 turnovers by Pittsburgh. Only one of them led to points for Notre Dame, a field goal, so they kind of got off the schneid there. But third down conversions, Pittsburgh not very good. But really, it's the rushing yards. Notre Dame very early trying to establish a run with the option and Jarius Jackson, but Bob Davie and his team going up against a very, very pumped-up Pittsburgh defense. The question is, Craig, can Pittsburgh's defense last through the second half with their lack of depth?
Well, Graham and Bryant line up near side. Pittsburgh will start on the ground, and Goings up to the 27. So a nice pickup and a little extracurricular activities going on. It was 51. Tario Harrison mixing it up front with one of those offensive line guys don't like to mix it up after the play.
Yeah, no, they're all good guys. But that's one thing that, Walt Harris comes out, he calls a run on the first play. I think he's maybe trying to send a message. Hey, guys, great first half, but we still have a lot of work to do. With 2 wins in a row, this team becomes bowl eligible, so got a lot ahead of them.
Second down 2. Lamont Bryant made the stick. I believe that was Goings again. Check that 38. Fiola, the fullback.
Yeah, you got to throw the fullback a bone every now and then. Those guys are in there shortening their neck with all those blocks, so you got to turn around and hand it off. Notre Dame actually used a fullback more than I'd seen them use all year in that first half. But Fiola, a senior out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so get the local guy a carry before his last game at Pitt Stadium's over.
And he was a walk-on, Ed. Earned a scholarship in the spring from Coach Walt Harris. This time back to Nick Goings. And he's going for the first down. Believe he got it. He needed to get at the 30. And he's going to mark him at the 31. Harrison made the tackle.
Craig, it's interesting talking about Pittsburgh and all the great things that they have ahead of them. The brand new stadium that's being built right down on the river. They will share. It will be an absolute shared arrangement with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's not a pro stadium where they're a tenant. They actually had some input into this. But going up against Notre Dame, who everyone assumes always has the biggest recruiting edge. But really, Pittsburgh is starting with their facilities to get into that realm.
Movement, flags. Walt Harris not happy, as you can tell. Ed, you mentioned the fact about the stadium. The signage week to week will be changed, meaning the Steelers one week and the Panthers the next.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
When you look at the difference between this stadium, Pitt's a great old stadium now, Craig, but only 132 people get to lean back in their seats. They have no televisions. There'll be over 400 at the new one. To move people around, you get 10 elevators and escalators as to none at Pitt, but big difference there, Craig. Players love to play on that grass.
Well, this turf is ready to go, no doubt. Tough pass incomplete. And boy, Turman paid for it with a heavy rush. It was 53. Making the hit. Turman, 4 of his first 6, 88 yards, touchdown and an interception. One of his last 9, Ed, for 10 yards and a pick.
David Priestley, who had won the starting job, standing right next to Walt Harris, has a slight tear in a ligament in his right shoulder, sitting on the sidelines. It really kind of started to settle into that job, Craig. It's a shame that he got hurt against against Miami.
Goings tripped up, squirts up to the 31. And that will bring up third down. Right now, Walt Harris and company trying to establish a ground game.
Yeah, but both of these teams have to be careful, Craig. As emotional as that first half was for both teams, don't kid yourself. When you come in as the away team into a place like this with all the things that are going on, you feed off that as well. But both these teams have to be careful that they're not flat here in the second half. Already a mistake by Pittsburgh with the offsides, but they really need to get those pads popping to play the second half.
Third down 11. Irish in the blitz. Turman rolls out, pumps, and falls down at the 33-yard line. Good downfield coverage by Notre Dame. Anthony Denman right there to put the hit on Turman. That brings up fourth down for Pitt.
Deveron Harper was downfield all over Lateef Grimm, and that was the only receiver to the side that Turman got flushed out to. So a good job, as you mentioned, by Notre Dame downfield, and Turman really had nowhere to go with that one.
DeBolt will punt for Pittsburgh, and Julius Jones back to receive inside his own 25. DeBolt had a 40-yard average in the first half, his longest of 47. This one is a high hanger. Fair catch at the 26, and a flag.
Yeah, they're going to get interference, I believe, Craig, on number 8, Demetrius Rich. They're waving off the flag now, but Demetrius Rich got inside that 2-yard zone, it looked like, but the officials are going to wave that off.
42-yard kick. $12:15 remaining. 10-10 at Pitt Stadium, and we'll be right back. Well, the Home Depot College football here on CBS. You see the light tower edge shining over Pitt Stadium. It's such a tight situation around this area. Those light towers are outside across the street. Notre Dame, first offensive series of the second half. Demetrius Rich making the stop on Tony Fisher. Time for our Aflac trivia question. And Ed, who was the last Notre Dame player to return a kickoff for a touchdown?
You'll be very interested to know.
Think about that. We'll have the answer in a few plays. Second down and 2. Driver dishing out a hit. First down. Irish up to the 45-yard line.
Well,
Tony
very
Fisher
obvious.
can run inside. He can run out. Powerful back end at 6'2", 226.
Very obvious what Kevin Rogers wants to establish, as he tried to establish in the first half with the option. Now just power isolation running with the big back, 6'2", 226. Get a couple of those big fullbacks, good speed or Lipinski up in the middle, and it just running it straight ahead and having a little success. 5
carries now for Fisher for 29 yards. First down and 10 at the 45 for Notre Dame. On the eye. Fisher pops through, spins up to the 45 of Pittsburgh. Ramon Walker made the tackle.
You know, all great offensive coordinators, and if you talk to people who know football, Kevin Rogers is a great offensive coordinator. Will do something that you think might be dumb. This is the exact same play. They've run this 3 times in a row now. But the reason you continue to do it, it's one of those things, Craig, you say, you know what? If you guys can't stop it, and my guy Tony Fisher's running it that well, I'm going to keep calling it. I formation again. Wouldn't be surprised if we see it a 4th time with Julius Jones now in the backfield.
Jones is checked in. Double tight end set on second and short. Guess what? Driving. And it was Julius Jones, and a fumble, and is recovered by Pitt. Well, you saw a couple of golden hats, and you couldn't tell who was coming off the pile, but it's Pittsburgh getting the fumble.
And Julius Jones, when he came off the pile, it looked like he just had left the ball there. His forward momentum looked like it had stopped. Again, the same play, just an isolation on the fullback. Julius runs into the back of his own guy. No question. Ball stripped right there. It looked like number 57, Brian Knight, working one-on-one with Holloway. He's going to come in right there and get that ball stripped out. Excellent job by Knight to get that right arm tied up by Holloway. Big-time play by Brian Knight. Had a couple of big plays to end the half for Pittsburgh.
First turnover for Notre Dame. Turman going up top. What an arm. Airs it! At the 11-yard line, Antonio Bryant, the freshman from Miami.
Craig, he's a true freshman out of Miami. Forget about it. This guy's played a lot of football. He's broken the record at Pittsburgh for catches by a freshman. Had the huge game against Virginia Tech. This time, gets number 15, Clifford Jefferson, to spin around. D. Cooper a little late and got up and caught that ball with his hands, Craig. A nice throw by Turman, but a better catch by Bryant. Great body control down the field.
You know, he told us you don't run by a lot of people in college football. It's all about technique.
And that was fantastic technique, Craig.
1st and 10, Pittsburgh at the 13. Up through the gut. What a strong run.
Kevin Barlow just did his Jerome Bettis impersonation.
Johnny Sanders had to bring him down inside the 5. And that brings up 2nd down and 2.
Well, Barlow sat over there on the sideline and saw Tony Fisher running hard for Notre Dame. He said, hey, it's my turn now.
Barlow out of Pittsburgh, a hometown product, played his high school football at Peabody High. 2nd and 1. High formation. Hand off again. Barlow. Touchdown. His 5th touchdown of the season, and this crowd is up and wild.
And number 1, Deke Cooper, is going to be the safety who has a chance to hit him. Deke is not a small guy, 6'2", 220 pounds, but Barlow wins the battle fighting for the end zone. Maybe tweaked his ankle a little bit there, Craig. Remember, he missed the Virginia Tech game, got twisted a little funny there at the end of the run.
Nick Lotz in to try the extra point. Kick is up. And Pittsburgh, on the hard running from Barlow, open up a 17-10 lead.
The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by Sun America. 10-10-3-2-1. StoreRunner.com. And by Suzuki.
Well, on the night they say goodbye to Pitt Stadium, Pittsburgh jumping out to a 17-10 lead. Barlow crushing a 3-yard run, but it was set up by the big 44-yard pass play from Turman to Bryant. 3 plays had 56 yards in just over a minute.
Barlow's first touchdown in 4 games. Pretty timely for him.
Another high hanger, Julius Jones at his own 7. Jones finds a seam, stood up and popped and dropped at the 22. Well, you talked about would emotion continue. I think Pitt is still riding high.
Yeah, Taryn Gray, a defensive back down there on kick coverage, boy. Pittsburgh has been hitting from the opening gun until right now. And again, I hate to keep harping on it, but with their lack of depth, they have to ride this emotion all the way through the 4th quarter, Craig. But I tell you, these Pittsburgh coaches have to be beside themselves with joy at how hard this team has played for them.
Jarius Jackson walks up to the line for Notre Dame. Irish pack it in a little bit in the backfield. They start from their own 23-yard line. Jackson, good protection, throws underneath. Catch by Gibbons. 3 yards to the 26. Walker made the hit. All right, Ed, time for our answer to the Aflac trivia question. Who was the last Notre Dame player to return a kickoff for a touchdown?
Everybody in America would have said Rocky Ishmael, don't you think?
Or Timmy Brown.
Right. Jarius Jackson was on the hands team back in 1997 against Pittsburgh when they tried an onside kick. Jarius scooped it and went 40 yards for the touchdown.
Versatile, you bet he is. Gibbons and Brown lined up to the near side. Irish in the eye, 2nd down and 5. Jackson with the pitch. Pittsburgh strings it out. And it was led by Knight, 57. Brian Knight out of Buffalo.
Just a sophomore, another one of those youngsters. Here's Knight lined up on the outside. Now watch the feather technique. He's running parallel to the line of scrimmage with his shoulders square. He has a double read, quarterback first, then to the back. Because of the good outside contain of the defensive backs, Knight was able to play that feather technique perfectly. Great game for Knight so far.
He's had a sack in this game. 3rd down and 9, Notre Dame. Jackson throws complete, then dropped at the 40-yard line. Bobby Brown had to lean out off his fingertips, and the Irish will punt.
And Pittsburgh came out looking just a little bit flat to start this 3rd quarter, and now they've got all of this momentum back, Craig. A great drive by their offense, good hard running by Kevin Barlow. Their defense comes out and has a sensational 3-and-out. Things really going well for Pittsburgh here this evening.
Bill Bowles, his 6th punt of the game. Hank Poteet watches it, takes a bounce. Still bouncing. It was touched. And Notre Dame covers up at the 33-yard line. Question is, did a Pitt Panther touch it?
Craig, the official threw his beanie bag down like possibly the ball did touch a Pittsburgh defender, and he did.
It was touched and recovered. Notre Dame football. Clifford Jefferson came up with it.
As the ball comes down, Craig, Hank Poteet has to be yelling, Peter, Peter, so that number 8, Demetrius Rich, can get out of the way, and Poteet tries to go in and save the ball. Good hustle by Clifford Jefferson, but a mistake. Hank Poteet, if he's not going to field it, he has to be screaming at Rich to vacate the area, and because he doesn't, a big mistake by Pittsburgh on the kicking game.
Boy, huge opportunity for Notre Dame, down by 7. They were pinned back deep, and now they have a 1st and 10 at the Panther 33. Brown and Johnson lined up to the far side, I formation. Jackson, the handoff. It's Fisher. Well, Sunday on 60 Minutes is the idea of turning your child's public school into a private school, a good one, or just another anything for a buck scheme. Check it out Sunday right here on CBS. That's 60 Minutes.
Craig, you have to put that down in the turnover category. So 3 turnovers for Pittsburgh. Can their defense step up again? This is what's called a quick change opportunity for your defense. Hold them to a field goal try at best if you're Pittsburgh and you win.
2nd down. Jackson, play action, throws complete. And a quick dart to Bobby Brown. Whistles. The ball popped free, but Brown was down at the 22. Rich made the stop. Well, Demetrius Rich has been busy. Walker back there in that Pittsburgh secondary.
Bobby Brown came into this game with 19 receptions, and this is his 6th on the night. So a couple of seniors, Darius Jackson going to Bobby Brown, using some of that experience. Big night for Bobby.
Clock running. First and 10, Notre Dame at the Pitt 23. 2 wideouts near side. Long snap count. Fisher diving in behind his right guard, Gandy and Teasdale.
It's Ryan Gonzalez.
Lost the hat.
He's got to strap that thing on a little tighter. He's running his mouth a little bit. Hey, you hit me hard, but I'm in there the whole time. Take a look at Joey Goodspeed, the fullback. Blasted up the middle. This is a play they've run and meets head-to-head with Gonzalez. Gonzalez goes to make the tackle. An excellent job. Gonzalez, one of those linebackers from Pittsburgh who missed some time. Temple, October 2nd against Temple, he had 2 partially torn ligaments in his knee, but looked healthy there. Good job by him taking on that fullback's block.
Only a pickup of 2. 2nd down 8. Reverse. We saw it in the first half. It's Gibbons. What's the throw? Touchdown! Bobby Brown. Bob Davie going into the his hat of tricks, and Gibbons on the end round and then pulls up and throws it. Bobby Brown for 6.
Well, David Givens listed as a flanker. We saw him earlier in the game as a running back down on the goal line. Now goes back to flanker and becomes a quarterback and throws a perfect ball to Bobby Brown.
Sanson will try to tie this game, and the kick is up and through the uprights. Oh, what a game in Pittsburgh. 17-all. Well, 5:27 left, third quarter. 17-all between Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. Bobby Brown cashing in. 5th touchdown reception of the year, and Givens gave it a toss on the end round. And the kick is away, taken by Torrey Cox at the 5. Cox at the 20, skips out of a tackle and taken down at the 24.
Kevin Rogers, the offensive coordinator of Notre Dame, set this play up earlier when they ran it to Joey Getherall. Ramon Walker made a great tackle on it. This time, exact same play, the option pitched out to the flanker. Nobody, Hank Poteet, came up to help on the option play, and Walt Harris screaming, someone get down there and covered him. But Bobby Brown, you know, you always hear somebody has a career day. Well, it truly is a career day. 8 receptions, 112 yards, the best for him in his senior year at Notre Dame.
Pittsburgh will start at their own 25-yard line. Grim in motion. They'll try to get something going back on the ground. It worked in that last drive. Barlow, the ball carrier, and knocked down by Deke Cooper, who's been very active in that secondary for Notre Dame.
Barlow just a tad gimpy on that touchdown run. Deke Cooper tackling, got him spun up a little bit. Asked to come out, and Nick Goings comes in, but still running very hard. Unfortunately, those ankles, Craig, you know, you always hear high ankle sprain. They don't go away until the end of the season. You just got to have to play with it the whole way.
Second down at 2. Goings off the left side, leans, first down Pitt to the 39. A high ankle sprain, Ed, for some reason has been like the vogue injury in college football this year and around the National Football League as well.
Well, and the thing about a running back, all the planning and cutting that these guys have to do, I mean, if you even practice on it, it's going to continue to aggravate that injury. But we saw Deke Cooper tackling Barlow on the end of that touchdown run, and that was what kind of tweaked it just a little bit. But now Goins has to come in because Barlow is a little gimpy.
1st and 10. Pittsburgh from the 39. Pitch back. Thurman has a wide open man breaking downfield in traffic. Flags are down, but the catch was made. It was Grimm.
Tit for tat, Craig. You want to run a little fake play on us? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to hand it off, pitch back, and Turman, if Turman would have not been pressured on this play, he had a pick between Lateef Grimm and Antonio Brown, who both got by their guys down the hashes. And Lateef Grimm, again, comes up with an incredible catch, the second one of tonight.
Pass interference on the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Check out the lower left part of your screen. Lateef Grimm, Antonio Bryant, both there. No question that it's a penalty on a Johnny Sanders. A good play by him, though, knowing he was beat deep. But what great concentration by Grimm.
Well, one-handed basket catch. And pushing back. And a good hit by Anthony Denham.
Well, that's just meeting the guy in the middle of the pile there, Craig. Denman, the Mike linebacker, filling a hole, doing a nice job. Barlow back in the game, still a little hobbled, but got caught straight on there, and he comes off now. I really think that ankle's starting to bother him.
Second down 11, long snap count. Herman, ball blocked and batted down, incomplete. Third down. That stops the clock with 3:18 left third quarter. And it was Rocky Boyman who got the hand up to bat it down.
Madison making the calls. Greg Madison, the defensive coordinator, his third year with Bob Davie as the defensive coordinator. Bob Davie was the defensive coordinator for Lou Holtz before taking over as a head coach. Still very involved in the game planning during the week.
Third down. 1 of 4 on the day as Turman throws in coverage, incomplete. I'll tell you, Bryant was looking for a flag, but there will be no flag as Harper was a cover man, number 10, the right corner for the Irish.
Watch the defensive end come inside Bryant. Just a little stunt. Andy Wisney is the defensive tackle who comes up the field, creates a little push. A nice job by him, and that allows Bryant to come underneath. The guard gets tied up with Wisney, cannot come back inside and pick up Lamont Bryant.
Watts hit a 24-yard field goal in the second quarter. This will be from 33 to break a 17-all tie. It's up and good from 33. And Pittsburgh takes a 20-17 lead. Pittsburgh and the Pitt Panthers up on Notre Dame by 3. High hanger taken by Jones. At the 6, Jones hops over a tackle, makes a nice move, 30, and taken down at the 31-yard line. Well, tomorrow on CBS, when New York is devastated by a massive earthquake, millions of people leading separate lives must come together in order to survive. Don't miss Aftershock. It's a world premiere miniseries tomorrow on CBS.
New Yorkers coming together? Huh. Only on TV.
My brother lives there. I'll have to ask him. We look at the numbers on Jackson, 13 of 25, 135 yards and the touchdown. It's a double tight set for the Irish on 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line. On the counter, they pitch it out. It's Fisher. Well, those pads are still popping here late in the third quarter. A 5-yard gain up to the 37.
That's Brian Knight, the defensive end for Pittsburgh, who's had a great game tonight. He had his responsibility on that option was Jarius Jackson. He went in and forced Jarius to pitch it quickly, but he's grabbing his back. Maybe got twisted a little funny as we take a look at the play. It looks like he maybe hyperextended his back as his hips went down and his upper body kind of got caught in the legs of Jarius Jackson. Maybe tweaked that back a little bit as his back bent back maybe a little too far, Craig.
Well, good to see up on a couple of knees. You know, just the shock as you saw the head kind of got pushed back a little bit too, Ed. It's just you got to wait for the feeling to kind of filter back down.
And he's got great stats so far today. The sack, 3 tackles, a forced fumble, but that doesn't even tell the story, Craig. He's also done a lot of things where you don't get stats. Make Jarius run around the pocket a little bit, get down there and make him pitch the ball.
An intimidator. Hey, tomorrow, NFL action on CBS. Miami at Buffalo. Most of you will see the late game, San Diego, Oakland, or Baltimore at Jacksonville. And, of course, halftime is the NASDAQ halftime report. Jim Nantz and the guys. So make your plans to tune in tomorrow here on CBS. Second down 4. From the 37-yard line. Jackson to handoff. Ooh. Fisher took a stick at the 40. Fumble, and Walker has it at the 28 of Notre Dame. The freshman is having himself a football game.
Line this guy up for all Big East. Ramon Walker came into this game with 113 tackles, by far the leading tackler. Good defense by Pittsburgh. Ramon Walker comes in, stacks up Jones, and just takes the ball right from Fisher, takes it right out of his hands as Fisher goes to spin out of the tackle. That's great football, Craig, by a freshman.
Well, they call him the quiet storm. Quiet off the field, boys noisy up top. Nearly. A big pass play inside the 5. It was Grimm diving, incomplete. Second down for Pittsburgh.
Boy, you want to talk about a move. Lateef Grimm just put on Clifford Jefferson. Lateef Grimm is going to fake to the inside right here. Plants that foot. Jefferson gets his feet caught up. And if Turman just takes a little bit off that ball, Craig, that's 6 for Pittsburgh.
Viola and Barlow in the backfield for Pitt. Second down. Good patience trying to follow his blockers, but it was great downline pursuit by Notre Dame. Bryant made the tackle.
Well, Knight, the defensive end for Pittsburgh, is having a nice game. Lamont Bryant is doing the same. The senior out of Georgetown, South Carolina, that time came from the backside, pursued down the line of scrimmage, a play that was set up. Pittsburgh set up like they were running to the left, but it was a design cutback play where the fullback bounces it back as a lead blocker, but it was Lamont Bryant coming from the other side defensive end spot. Good hustle by him.
Julius Dixon checks in for Pittsburgh. See 3 wide receivers. On 3rd down, Turman throws complete, touchdown Pitt! Antonio Bryant. Oh, the emotions of the freshman out of Miami, the top producing wide receiver as a freshman in Pittsburgh history.
And he went for a victory lap, Craig. He ran over to the track to go for a victory lap, and his teammates tackled him and said, hey, we want to celebrate with you, Antonio. You got to let us catch you. So they tackled him over on the track.
Watts, who has been busy, and for the extra point attempt. Oh, the final chapter of this stadium being written here tonight. And it's a 10-point lead for Pittsburgh.
We just saw Lateef Grimm throw a great move on Clifford Jefferson. This time, it's Antonio Bryant's turn. The true freshman learning from the senior Grimm throws a great inside move on Jerome Sapp. Got good separation. Turman lays it in there. Walt Harris, the quarterback's coach, the offensive coordinator. Oh, yeah, he's the head coach, too, Craig. Got a lot riding on this game. He said that I have to coach a perfect game and our players have to play a perfect game. Craig, he's getting that tonight.
Don't forget, Turman is replacing David Priestley out with that shoulder injury. And there is the young 18-year-old Antonio Bryant, who just broke Dwight Collins' freshman record for receiving yards in a season. The old record, 827. Bryant now with 844 yards this year.
Boy, you can't replace enthusiasm, Craig. When you get young guys with that kind of talent, the only thing they know is how to win. When you look at a guy like Antonio Bryant, he went to Northwestern High School. They were 6A state champions in Florida, ranked 4th in the country. That's all that guy knows how to do is win, and you love that enthusiasm of the young guy.
And don't forget, he wanted to play for Bobby Bowden at Florida State. There wasn't much interest, and he went where the interest was the highest, right here in Pittsburgh. Julius Jones making the turn, 20, 25, 30. And Jones with a great return back to the 35. Well, speaking of Florida State, Ed, Saturday it is the Seminoles against the Gators doing battle in the swamp. Bobby Bowden and the Seminoles look to remain undefeated and avenge the 97 loss that cost them a shot at the national championship. Steve Spurrier's Gators, well, they need a win over their arch rivals and #1 team of the nation if they hope to win their 2nd national title in the last 4 years. Florida State, Florida, Saturday right here on CBS. And with Tennessee losing and Penn State losing.
A big game just got bigger, if you can believe that.
Notre Dame down 10 with 1:06 remaining, 3rd quarter. A little razzle-dazzle again. Jackson going deep. Little bump, a little push. Taken and pulled down. Oh, what a catch down there on the battle. Bobby Brown. He beat out Demetrius Rich for that football.
Same play that we saw Lateef Grimm get interfered with and make a great one-handed catch. Notre Dame, Kevin Rogers, the offensive coordinator, calls the exact same play, and Bobby Brown does not want to be outdone by Lateef Grimm.
On the defense, penalty is refused. First down.
At a 37-yard reception.
I'm starting to wonder if the coordinators for these two teams are sitting together up in the press box. Okay, you ran that? Tell you what, I got a guy, Bobby Brown, who's having the best game of his career. I'm going to do the same thing. Demetrius Rich never turned to look at the ball. He's called for the interference, but Bobby Brown, an excellent job adjusting to the underthrow by Jarius Jackson.
Boy,
wow, Craig, there are some receivers making some plays here tonight.
Big time. 4 wide out set this time for Notre Dame. 1st and 10 from the Pitt 27. Going up top for 6. Flags. Touchdown Irish. It's Gibbons. It feels like ping pong.
Oh, Craig, you cannot draw up more excitement than we've had in the last couple of plays. David Givens, 6'1", 218, going up against Demetrius Rich, 5'10", 170, out jumps him. We saw Givens play running back. We've seen him throw the ball as a quarterback and now makes a sensational play. The pass interference is declined by Notre Dame. They'll take the 6 points over the penalty any day.
Oh, a 2-yard or a 2-play drive, Ed. 37 yards to Brown, and now a 27-yard touchdown to Givens. Strike quick offense this time for Notre Dame. Sanson will try to draw the Irish to within 3. Kick is up and through. What a chapter, the final chapter of Pitt Stadium. Still a quarter and 32 seconds to be written.
And there was Walt Harris talking to Demetrius Rich, the guy who got beat on both of those plays. Got to keep his head up. There's a lot of football. 32 seconds left in the third quarter. Still up by 3. Walt Harris knows he needs his cover guys. They cannot get down on themselves for giving up plays like that. They have to have a real bad short-term memory.
Walt Harris, still all business, writing down what's working and what's not. 2 plays, as I mentioned, 64 yards. Ed, you can't draw this up any better. 47-second scoring drive.
And the thing that's wonderful about what's happening, Craig, it's players making plays. You know, that was great coverage. Demetrius Rich was all over David Givens. Take nothing away from the coverage. Givens just made a sensational play. Same with Bobby Brown. Demetrius Rich all over him again, although he was called for the penalty. Good coverage down the field. Bobby Brown makes a great play. Lateef Grimm earlier, defensive back all over, makes a one-handed grab. It's just great to see the players stepping up to the momentum and the size and the hugeness of this game.
Sanson with the kick. Poteet at his own 2. Poteet squeezes through, 25, still on his feet, 31-yard line. Unbelievable scene here at Pitt Stadium. Craig Bolerjack and Ed Cunningham pleased to bring it to you. 20 seconds remain, third quarter. Pittsburgh over Notre Dame, 27-24. And it's just been back and forth, big play after big play. And both quarterbacks, Turman and Jackson, have shown some tremendous arm strength.
Well, and, you know, they've underthrown some balls, and they've had some good coverage downfield. But their receivers, Craig, have really come up and made huge plays for both of these guys.
Turman has gone the distance. Trying to run it off the side is Barlow behind Weidel and Downey, his left side, tackle and guard. Final seconds of the third quarter, and what a quarter it was. Remember, it was 10-all at the half. That ends the third quarter with the score. Pittsburgh 27 and Notre Dame 24. We'll return to Pitt Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. Brightly as we start the fourth quarter. Pittsburgh by 3 over Notre Dame. They have the football. Second down, 9. Turman up top, throws a little under. But a flag now late. Flag thrown late at midfield. Intended receiver was Lateef Grimm.
Had Harper and Deke Cooper down in coverage for Notre Dame. Looks like they're going to get a hold.
Well, look at the talk going on. Deke Cooper and Lateef Grimm. Steve Newman with the signal.
Lateef Grimm, when we met with him the other day, said, you know, I run my mouth, but I don't put them down. I just talk about their technique.
The defense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
He said, I talk about their technique. We watch Harper with the right hand on the back of the jersey as Lateef Grimm got to the inside. Good call by the official. Not pass interference because the ball wasn't in the air yet, but got a little sloppy with those hands, Harper did.
First and 10, Barlow. Plowing his way up for 5, maybe 6 yards to the 47. Jefferson stuck his helmet in to make the tackle. And Ed, you take a look at the last 3 times that Pitt has put their hands on the football. They started at Notre Dame's 37, 3 plays, bang. Their own 25, they get the field goal. Their own 44, again, quick offense, 3 plays, 56 yards, and they find 6.
Yeah, that's not a bad third quarter, huh?
On the eye, 2nd down and 5. Play action, Turman steps up. Good coverage downfield, now they drop it off Barlow out of the backfield. We took a shot. About split him in half at the 46. Denman and Harrison teamed up for the hit. And a little John continues out there. Grimm having some words with Deveron Harper.
Yeah, I don't know that he's talking about his technique right there, Craig. We were saying he likes to correct defensive backs on their technique. I think him and Harper are having a battle royale out there.
You know, when we talked to him, interesting young man, and he's also a poet. He's got the soft side to him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Harper thinks that right about now. He's not seeing his soft side.
Pittsburgh 1st down. Barlow. Oh, Notre Dame still just clogging it up. Making it tough going for Barlow. He picks up 1, maybe 2 to the 46. Brad Williams leading the way. Barlow trying to work on that sprained ankle, a junior out of Pittsburgh. I guess it's got to be tough. He's from Peabody High and just playing high school here and then coming to the university. A little added pressure to be one of the stars.
Yeah, and you know, he's got the bad ankle. He's been hobbled around. He got injured on his touchdown run. But he's battling it out, Craig. You've got to give him a lot of credit for sucking it up.
Clock running. Turman throws near sideline. Catch, then dropped, incomplete. It was Grimm and a rare miscue on his part today.
And now you get to reap what you sow. Grimm's been John with Deveron Harper. This time he's got Clifford Jefferson one-on-one. This ball thrown just a little late. It's got to be there now. Just a little late. Jefferson able to get over there and time his hit up. Just enough to knock the ball away, but Grimm looking up saying, these hands are supposed to be working. They didn't work that time.
Grimm out of Stockton, California. He came in as a top receiver in the Big East and having a whale of a day. 3 wide receivers set on 3rd down and call it 8. Turman steps up, going deep ball again. Incomplete. Flag comes out. It was Grimm. He's going to jaw again, and it was Clifford Jefferson, the cover man.
And Lateef Grimm has to be careful not to get himself in unsportsmanlike conduct. I realize he's an emotional player, but after the penalty flag, he got up in the face of Clifford Jefferson, goes to the sideline, and one of the coaches from Pittsburgh wisely tells him, hey, you got to settle down. Do not get us a penalty on top of a penalty. Craig, from up here, it looked like this was good coverage by Clifford Jefferson. That's the right hand. Good call by, or excuse me, the left hand. Good call by the official. Jefferson running step for step. He just doesn't need to get that left arm up to pull down the right arm of Lateef Grimm. From up here, I couldn't see that left arm, but a good call by the official seeing that left hand.
Yeah, hooked him and pinned that arm to his side.
And he didn't have to, Craig. He was running stride for stride. He just needs to continue on his angle. Doesn't need to reach out and knock that arm down.
7th flag thrown against Notre Dame.
And there's Walt Harris talking to Lateef Grimm. It kind of became a project for Walt Harris. Knew how much talent Lateef Grimm had, but he said he really had to work with him on his technique.
1st and 10 from the 31. Tough running that time. Goings gets the call. Number 37 out of Dublin, Ohio, a junior. Eddie, as you mentioned earlier, a transfer out of Ohio State. John Cooper's program.
It was a guy that Walt Harris helped recruit at Ohio State when Walt was the quarterbacks coach for John Cooper at Arizona State. And when things weren't going well for Goings, he decided to transfer to Ohio State, or back to Pittsburgh and his old coach.
2nd down and 4. Viola, the fullback, Goings the tailback. Goings gets the call off the left side, squeezes through, close to the 1st down. I believe he got it as Tario Harrison tripped him up. Number 51, the inside backer for Notre Dame.
Craig, have we been treated to some hard playing today or what? I mean, the receivers are down, battling downfield, making great one-hand catches with guys all over them. Every running back who touches the ball, they're acting like it's their last carry of their career. Every player on this field is living up to the size of this game.
Coming up on the 12-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Pittsburgh by 3, trying to stack on more. Turman's had a day. Up he goes. Catch! Is it a touchdown? No! Incomplete. Grimm had it on his side, and on his way down, lost the handle.
You can't fault the effort. Grimm got spun around, and Johnny Sanders down there on coverage.
Well, it's almost becoming personal now, Ed, between Grimm, Jefferson, and Harper.
Not able to hold on. Clifford Jefferson on the coverage again. Both of them fighting back and forth, but Grimm got spun around, makes a great effort to try to get that ball, not able to do it. Well, he doesn't have it.
He dropped it.
Not a whole lot of emotion out of Coach Harris.
Second down, 10. Irish showing blitz. Turman throws up Rainbow. Wide open off the fingertips. This time he was looking for Antonio Bryant, the freshman, who's had a terrific game.
Boy, Turman has had 2 throws today that if he could have just had, one was going the other way to the corner pylon to Latif Grimm, and this one just over the fingertips. Antonio Bryant, 6'2", with good speed, just not able to get under it. Turman, nice job getting air under that ball, but just a bit outside.
No concerns with this Pitt offense, losing Priestley to the injury. Turman making a 6th start. They've been trading back and forth, and so the confidence level has been there. Turman in trouble. This time he's going to go down. He'll lose 2 back to the 23-yard line. And it was Rocky Boyman out of Cincinnati.
Good effort by Boyman. He was blocked early, continued on his rush. Everybody coming for Notre Dame. You had 2 defensive backs coming from the outside. That's Boyman working one-on-one with the left tackle Weidel. Just good effort by him. Flushed out of the pocket. Turman had to move up. Boyman comes underneath the block. A good effort sack.
Lots of 39-yard attempts. He's 2 for 2 on the day. 24 and 33 yards. And now play is stopped. Flags are down.
Center, move the ball!
David Priestley and Walt Harris talking about the situation.
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Well, instead of a 39-yard attempt, this will be from 44.
This will be a career long if he hits it, Craig. Coming into the game, his long on his career was 39 yards.
He's hit 2 from 24 and 33. This will be from 44. And it's good. 44 yards. 3 field goals on the day for Nick Lutz. And Pittsburgh opens up a 6-point lead. The Pitt Panthers in their final game here at this grand old stadium of 75 years, leading Notre Dame 30-24. Over 60,000 here, Ed. 8th largest in Pitt Stadium. In Pitt Stadium history. Julius Jones in a bundle picks it up and is taken down at the 25-yard line. And Craig Bolerjack back with Ed Cunningham. Ed, we've been talking about emotion all day long, and this is where it's going to count. 4th quarter, and the time's starting to tick away.
Yeah, and the emotion has carried Pittsburgh. The problem, Craig, on defense, they don't have a lot of depth. So that emotion can start to wear you out a little bit. Watch for Notre Dame, only down by 6, to continue to try to establish the run. We saw them in the 3rd quarter establish the isolation play, fullback leading Fisher up the middle. They got a lot of yards. I would think Kevin Rogers will continue to pound down.
1st and 10, Irish at the 26-yard line. On the play fake, Jackson throws to the flat, complete. Joey Goodspeed from his fullback position with a big pickup and a 1st down.
last 8 possessions for Notre Dame. Take a look at the graphic. Blocked field goal to end the half. Touchdown, started the third quarter, and then they had to punt the last 2 times. Now they're a little play action. Got Joey Goodspeed out there for a 15-yard pickup. But if you are Kevin Rogers, Bob Davies' first-year offensive coordinator, you have to get something going. You got to continue to establish the run because those play actions are worth nothing, Craig, if you don't have that run game going.
First down and 10, double tight end set. Jackson rolls out. Good protection, throws up the rainbow. Up and complete at the 22. Dan O'Leary, the tight end, the senior from Westlake, Ohio. And the Irish right on the front doorstep.
Well, they run a little play fake. Notre Dame runs the toss sweep fake to the left. O'Leary runs right down the middle of the field. Great coverage by Seth Hornack, but O'Leary goes 6'4", 260 pounds. It's an unfair matchup for Hornack at 5'11", 195, and O'Leary does a nice job keeping that big wide frame in front of that little defensive back.
Well, wide indeed. Second catch of the afternoon for Dan O'Leary, and a first down Irish at the 24-yard line. Back to the ground. Boy, hard running, but not much there for Fisher. And for an update on Mississippi State and Alabama, here's Tim Brando.
Fellas, I want to show you how to burn the #1 defense in the country. Look at that. They're all reading a middle screen, a little pump fake, and Shamari Buchanan takes it in from Andrew Zhao. Charlie Stubbs, the offensive coordinator, one-ups Joe Lee Dunn, the defensive genius at Mississippi State. It's 19-7 Alabama.
You knew Brando was going to get that in.
Alabama.
But if you're used to SEC football, especially Alabama, you're not used to seeing that bunch formation for the Crimson Tide.
2 wide receivers set to the far side. Jackson tremendous on the play action, but Pittsburgh didn't buy it. Cashabera pulls him down from behind.
Cashabera drew the start tonight because he is a Newcastle, Pennsylvania product and a senior. His last game at home as a Pitt Panther. Play fake, Cashabera doesn't go for it. Excellent coverage downfield, and that's the thing, Craig. When you're a defensive lineman and your DBs are back there giving you that kind of coverage, you have to continue to get there to get that sack.
Cashabera comes off, 3rd down and 8, facing Notre Dame, under 9 minutes remaining. 4 wide receivers on 3rd down and 8. Jarius Jackson from the shotgun. Good protection. Up top, the rainbow in traffic. Caught! Incomplete now. They say down inside the 5 at the 1. He threw into some tough coverage. It was Bobby Brown climbing the ladder, but incomplete.
Greg, I can't say it enough. I mean, every receiver on this field tonight has gone up and just made sensational plays on the ball. This time, Bobby Brown goes to the height of the ball, not able to hang on. Good coverage downfield. It's number 14, Mark Ponko, coming over from his safety position to get a hand in there, knock that away. But great effort by Bobby Brown, Craig. You just can't fault him.
This will be a 38-yard attempt. Sampson today, 1 of 2. 138, flags are down. It's good, but hold on.
Couldn't tell, Craig, if Pittsburgh was drawn off sides, but they definitely got an early jump on that snap. Now the question becomes, if you're Bob Davie, you're still going to have 4th down, about 4th and 2.
Offside. Defense. Penalty is declined.
I wouldn't have taken the points off either, Craig.
Never take the points off the board. 8:36 remain. 38-yard field goal pulls Notre Dame to within 3. Moon shining bright. 30-27 Pittsburgh.
Well, Craig, you couldn't have written it out any better, could you?
No.
Last game here at Pitt Stadium.
You
We're lucky to be here.
It's a co-authorship. I mean, you got Notre Dame, Bob Davie, and Walt Harris in Pittsburgh. This kick went off the side of the foot, taking it to 30. Pitt's going to have good field position. Spinning up to the 36, 37, 38-yard line. And that is Brandon Williams, special teams unit. Well, tonight on CBS, America's Night of Heroes is all new, Ed, beginning with early edition. Then Samo and Arsenio must stop someone from brainwashing innocent Americans into unstoppable assassins on martial law, followed by Chuck Norris and Walker, Texas Ranger. It's all new, and it's all tonight right here on CBS.
Awfully deep plot line.
Yes, it's heavy. Heavy stuff tonight. 3-point lead for Pittsburgh. They have the football, 8:24 left. And they start this drive on their own 39-yard line. They're going to run it. Lamont Bryant making the stop on Goings.
We've talked about the receivers, and take a look at the quarterbacks. Getting great help downfield. 2 interceptions by Turman. One of them was just a tipped ball, so you can't really count that one. But Jarius Jackson, again, taking care of the football. The one thing he has done is take care of the ball. He had the little ding on the left elbow, had to put the pad on. But the one thing that Jarius has not been able to do is establish himself as a runner today.
2nd down and 7. Going off the right side. Pads continue to pop up to the 46. You know, we just saw the quarterbacks here, and Ed checking around the rest of the country. The Hamilton having a great day, 322. Chad Pennington, 339. And Dan Ellis, 6 touchdown passes for 363.
Dan Ellis, a former snapper, sets an ACC record with 363 yards today.
4 wide receivers. 3rd down and 4. Clock continues to run. And now the officials will step in. Whistles. And a timeout call by Notre Dame.
And the way this game is going, Craig, those are becoming very valuable. 7:14 left. Notre Dame down by 3.
Panthers up on Notre Dame by 3. And time so precious. 7:14 remaining.
The wave going around. Is this the last wave at Pitt Stadium? Maybe one later?
I think if they win, there'll be a big wave. Kerman in the pocket. Throws. Incomplete. And that brings up 4th down. It was Grimm, the intended receiver, and good coverage by a Johnny Sanders, a strong safety.
One of the offensive line from Pittsburgh down on the line, and a Johnny Sanders. Good job getting that left hand out there. And Turman takes a little pop as he throws this ball. That's Rocky Boyman hitting him high, and that's Denman hitting him low.
Well, DeBolt comes in to punt it away. Julius Jones back to receive.
It's Kiawatha Downey, redshirt freshman left guard, coming out. Lost 30, redshirted last year, Craig, lost 30 pounds. Buddy Morris is the strength coach here at Pittsburgh. Got him on a program and really trimmed him up.
So DeBolt back to punt at his own 32-yard line. Good high kick. Jones flags are down, dragged down at the 17.
Well, now they are going to get Demetrius Rich for being too close to Julius Jones. Good hustle by him, but he's got to break down and give 2 yards of cushion to Jones. It comes up a little gimpy on that left ankle.
Fair catch interference. Violation of the 2-yard belt on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Although that was not a fair catch, so it's not fair catch interference. Even when it's not a fair catch, which this is not, you still have to give room. There was no question that Demetrius Rich was inside the personal space of Julius Jones before he caught that.
Well, Notre Dame with 7:01 left in the 4th quarter, down by 3. They'll have the football and not much. Gerald Hayes made the tackle. Well, today's Rigid Tool Scholar Athlete of the Game is Mark Paco of Pittsburgh. Out of Delmont, PA, sophomore, business management. GPA Ed just under 3.2. Rigid Tool's commitment to the investment of our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to the University of Pittsburgh General Scholarship Fund.
And we've talked about the history all day surrounding this game. This guy knows about the history. His first cousin is Russ Grimm. Offensive lineman at Pittsburgh, went on to fame with the Washington Redskins.
2nd down and 9. Jackson throws, fires, complete. Bobby Brown, I think, was surprised that he broke away, picked up 2-3 more yards and a first down. Rob Butler brought him down at the 37.
This ball was coming in just a little bit hot, Craig. Jerry's got some little extra oomph on this ball. Bobby, just as he comes out of his break, has to reach up and snare it. A good catch using his hands. Going up against number 20, another true freshman for Pittsburgh. Rob Butler throws a nice move on Butler and comes back. But a really good job of Bobby Brown getting his hands up there and snaring that pass.
4 wide receivers, and at the top of your screen is the tight end, Jabari Holloway. Jackson throws a dart across the middle. Caught and then intercepted. It's McCurley, the walk-on freshman.
But give the credit to Ramon Walker, Craig. We've talked about him all day. Another big play by the redshirt freshman, the leading tackler, free safety for Pittsburgh. Came up and made a great hit, knocked the ball out. Ramon Walker is going to make this a perfectly timed hit on Joey Getherall. As soon as Getherall got his hands on it, Walker knocks it away. And Jeff McCurley, what a great story. A walk-on freshman, was not even supposed to play this year, but with all of the injuries, comes in and has a big play for Pittsburgh here in the fourth quarter.
It comes with 5:48 remaining. On the ground is Pittsburgh wanting to run some clock, and it's Kevin Barlow. Barlow with 5 yards to the Irish 38-yard line.
And if you're Pittsburgh, you're going to allow the play clock on every play to get down inside of 5 seconds before you snap it. You don't want to ruin the momentum that you have, Craig. But Turman has to realize they need to eat some of this clock off, get it down inside before they go for a score.
There's the play clock in your left-hand corner. Now down to 8-7. Second down and 5. They milk it to 4. Barlow again. Oh, what a power back. He uses those shoulder pads to his advantage. Well, CBS Sports Line stat of the game. And here it is, turnovers. Notre Dame perfect, Ed, in the first half, but yet committing 3 here in the second half of play.
And Ramon Walker is responsible for 2 of those. The redshirt freshman safety ripped out a ball and also caused that last interception.
Well, for complete college football coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com. And now a timeout. Pittsburgh calls timeout. We'll come back to Pitt Stadium. Buckle up. 4:37 remaining here. As you look at Jarius Jackson, he was picked off just moments ago. Gathering his thoughts, he was dinged up, Ed. As you see, we talked about the elbow pad on that left elbow. Goings and Fiola in the background, or the backfield for Pittsburgh. Third down. Sherman fires, connects, first down Pitt, and it's Latif Grimm. Well, if he doesn't get a game ball, I don't know who will.
Craig, the only problem is I don't know that they have enough balls to give out for game balls.
True.
I mean, they've had great play from everyone. Their defense has played sensational, Pittsburgh, and take nothing away from Notre Dame. It's not like Notre Dame has come out here asleep. They've played hard and played well. This has just been one of those ball games where they're just going to slug it out and see who wins.
And we talked before in our meetings just about emotion today. I mean, you know, you knew they'd come out, this crowd, they'd feed off of it. Well, the biggest question, and all the coaches told us, how long will it last? First and 10.
And there's another guy. And there's another guy. You know, he re-sprained his ankle when he scored a touchdown in the third quarter. And here he has to make a couple of guys miss, but continues to fight forward. I mean, just kind of embodies what's been going on during this whole game.
Check the timeouts. Both schools with 2 timeouts. The biggest enemy, though, for Notre Dame is clock. 3:40. Second down and 7. And no one has left the building. Grimm, the motion man. It's Barlow. Bangs his way to the 21. That is just simply power running behind McCurley, Downey, Anderson, the front of that Pittsburgh offensive front.
And Anthony Denman, the middle linebacker, came up to make that stop, and Kevin Barlow had a head of steam. Denman held on and made the tackle, but it's safe to say Barlow won that battle.
Third down and 3 minutes remain in this grand old building. High formation. Look at that. Will you look at that? Barlow to the 11. Harper finally brought him down. I just told you Grimm needed a game ball. Yeah, you're right. They got to find one for Barlow.
Greg, and Notre Dame stacked the line of scrimmage with 9 defenders that time, brought a bunch of blitzers, and the offensive line for Walt Harris, that's the most emotion we've seen all day on a running play, because his offensive line did a fantastic job picking up the Notre Dame blitz, giving a little seam to Barlow, and Barlow did the rest.
Barlow 16 carries for 59 yards, but 51 of those have come here hard running in the second half. Not much this time as the guys in white smother him. Andy Wisney, the right tackle. Well, some great players, of course, have played here at Pitt Stadium. Dorsett, Ditka, none other than Dan Marino, who calls this his second home.
I grew up right in the Oakland section where the stadium is. I mean, I could walk from my house to the 50-yard line within 5 minutes. I mean, that's how close I grew up to the stadium. So for me, there's a lot of memories. I remember going up there as a kid and watching Dorsett and even watch Steeler games there when the Steelers played. So there's a lot of memories in that place for me. So, obviously I'm going to miss that, but I think, there's always an end to something, and I guess, bigger and better things, and university's going to move on.
And you would hope that the guys who couldn't make it tonight, over 300 former Lettermen from the University of Pittsburgh showed up for tonight's game, but Dan Marino, playing for the Miami Dolphins, not able to make it. You would hope that those guys are watching tonight, Craig, because really, Walt Harris's team has put on a show that those guys can be proud of.
Great tradition here, and that man right there trying to have it in a rebirth, basically.
And a tough decision, really, Craig, to tear this place down and move 4 miles down the river to the new stadium, but one in which to compete against teams like Notre Dame and Ohio State and those schools that are spending all that money on their stadiums, it was a decision they had to make.
Well, you bring an 18-year-old into a facility, I mean, look at what you see around the country. You've got to impress and impress quickly. Goins and Fiola. Quarterback Bill Goins gets the ball stacked up at the 8, led by Harrison, the inside linebacker. Goins has picked up some tough yardage today. Led tonight, it's Early Edition on CBS. Martial Law, Walker, Texas Ranger. Busy night. Check it out tonight here on CBS.
Notre Dame has to burn their last time out. Bob Davie calls them so that they can save a little time for their offense. Coming into today's game, Craig, Notre Dame had really been dominant against Pittsburgh, 243-55 in their last 5 meetings.
But look at the 93-96 game. That's 44-zip and 60-6. 2:07 remaining. The last time Pitt won was back in '87, and that was a 30-22 game. That was when Notre Dame was ranked in the top 5 at number 4.
Pittsburgh facing a 3rd and 6 here. Need to get just inside the 2-yard line for the first down. Be interesting to see, Craig, if they would try to kick a field goal. If they don't make it, try to kick a field goal or go for it on 4th down and challenge the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to go the length of the field.
Bryant and Grimm, your 2 wide receivers, and Ed in the red zone today. 5 opportunities for Pitt, 3 field goals and a couple of touchdowns. 2 wide outs to the near side. they're going to stay on the ground. Barlow, first down, Pitt. Johnny Sanders hit him in the numbers.
It's going to be close, Craig. I think they're going to have to take a measurement. He had to get just inside the 2-yard line. I couldn't tell where the ball hit, but it looked very close, Craig.
Got it.
They're going to bring in the sticks. The way Nick Lotz, the kicker for Pittsburgh, has kicked today, he's 3 for 3. You'd think that Walt Harris would opt for the field goal, but I agree. It looked like he had it.
Half a football. Ooh. Half a football.
That's all it takes.
Half a football. Pitt with a first down with 2 minutes to go.
We've talked about effort all day long. Kevin Barlow, bad ankle and all, going full speed, stepping over people, fighting for that last half of a football to get a huge first down for Pittsburgh, Craig. Now, no timeouts left for the Irish. Things are not looking very good for Notre Dame.
How about that? Well, maybe the emotion wasn't in Barlow in that first half with 8 rushing yards, but he has pounded away at Notre Dame for 58. And what do you bet? Who gets the call?
He brought you here. You might as well use him again, right?
First and goal. Barlow on the left side. Bounces in. Touchdown. His 5th touchdown of the season, and this one he'll remember and tell his grandkids about.
Walt Harris brings in his backup quarterback, John Turman, who had been a starter early in the year, brings in a bunch of injured guys, including Kevin Barlow from right here in Pittsburgh, PA. Craig, it gives you chills. I mean, you don't want to, in our position, you always have to be subjective. But really, when you have guys like this playing this hard, it's hard not to be a fan of a Kevin Barlow.
You mentioned it about being the hometown guy. Peabody High School, final game in a stadium that you grew up around, and you put it in to make it a 9-point lead. Lotz will try to make it 10, and the kick is up and good. Pittsburgh 37, Notre Dame 27.
Watch the left side of the offensive line on this play, particularly the tight end right there. Working one-on-one, never stops his feet. That's number 88, Kirk McMullen. A great pancake block down the line of scrimmage on Ryan Roberts, the defensive end. And finally, we start to see some emotion for Walt Harris. And Craig, he deserves it.
1:41 remaining here in the final chapter. You hate to keep going back, but they all wanted to know for the last weeks, how would it all play out as they close the gates on this 75-year-old stadium. 10 plays, 43 yards, over 4 minutes, and Barlow capped it off on the drive at 8 carries, 33 yards.
That's called an exclamation point, Craig. And look at the fans, the student section. They call it the 12th section, Craig, because they call him the 12th man. The entire student section is section 12. And the football players from Pittsburgh going to the student section and thanking them for everything they've done for them tonight.
Lotz will kick from this 35. Julius Jones at the 3. Jones a seam. Outside, back inside, breaks the tackle, and spins up to the 34-yard line. Ed, you saw a great football game here today. Hey, how about next week? Right here on CBS. It'll start up at 3 o'clock Eastern. It's #1 ranked Florida State taking on the 4th ranked Gators in the Swamp. Starts with the Volkswagen College football today with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman.
Uh-oh, Craig. Goalposts are shaking in their boots now.
Oh, minute 28. Notre Dame needs a strike and strike in a hurry, and they have done so here in the second half. 3 wide outs. Jackson, good protection. Pittsburgh drops back and they swing it out. It's caught by Fisher and he's out of bounds, and that does stop the clock. First down or close to one at the 45. A minute 19 remaining. McCurley made the tackle.
Good job by Fisher, breaking through a tackle to get himself out of bounds, stop the clock. I can guarantee you that guy, Jarius Jackson, hasn't given up.
Jackson shotgun. First down, Irish from behind. Jackson felt the pressure. Buying time, directing traffic. Deep ball, has a man! And complete at the 12-yard line. Bobby Brown, it ain't over yet.
I mean, the career day continues for Bobby Brown. A 43-yard completion. Here's a guy who was kind of the forgotten man, only had 19 catches coming into today's game. He's just played huge, Craig.
Irish in business. First down from the 13. Jackson has shown tremendous poise. Directing traffic once again. Throws complete. Guess who? Bobby Brown at the 9-yard line, and he took a shot from Kareem Thompson.
Bobby Brown had 19 receptions coming into today, Craig. That is his 12th catch. He now has 209 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. What a day.
Clock running. 40 seconds remain. And this crowd is starting to get anxious. Into the end zone. Off the hands of Brown. Stops the clock. 27 seconds left. Oh, look at this. This is going to be a scene.
Now, the interesting thing is they have to get them to the left goalpost. The right goalpost they're going to try to save. They've auctioned off a lot of the things in this stadium, one of them being one of the goalposts. So they're going to try to get the students herded down to the left goalpost.
Jackson on the day, 21 of 36, 320 yards. He wants more. Swings it out of the backfield. Oh, chopped down is Tony Fisher. Brian Boynicki.
Here's another guy, Boynicki, who knows the history of this place. And Fisher looks like he's coming up a little. The thigh looks a little, took a nice shot. Brian Boynicki, though, his father, William, was a 3-year letterman at Pittsburgh on the football team. So another guy who knows the history of this place comes up with a big hit.
Good thing for thigh pads. 17 seconds remain. Boynicki makes his way off the field. Jackson into the end zone. It's batted down, incomplete. And Pitt will take over. And I don't know if they're going to be able to keep the crowd off this football field. Well, the stadium announcer is pleading.
Now, Greg, the coaches can get together and decide to end the game for the safety of the players. And I think that would be a wise move by Bob Davie and Walt Harris. Bob Davie now walking over. I don't think there's any need to continue this game.
And I think both goalposts may not make it through the night. 9 seconds officially remaining, and they're trying to herd this crowd off of the field here at Pitt Stadium.
Well, if they have to kick a field goal, Craig, the game's over.
There goes one. It went down in a hurry on the left side. I tell you, this field is stubborn, Ed. I don't want to go down. This one wants to stay up.
And there's Walt Harris and Bob Davie running the rest of the clock. Wise decision.
Wind it down. It is official, and just take a look at this. The final chapter has been written. So for Ed Cunningham, this is Craig Bullerjack saying so long from Pitt Stadium with a final score. Pittsburgh 37, Notre Dame 27. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports. and a fond farewell to Pitt Stadium.